Meanwhile, Japan won those early games in very, very JK with the showcase round one TTV seems that's not great to start scaling program, but even though it's actually some dedication towards that late game versus that early game team fight is going to be very, very interesting in our first game. It's so cool. I feel like usually we talk so much about what we see from experience and teams playing against each other, but this is the first one of the day, and it's often the first one where it's like we've seen the styles from each different team, but what's it going to be when they actually clash? And there's no better way to figure out than starting off the first game of the day, and we're going to get into the draft. Everybody's not familiar. It is one band per team. This is very different from the previous years of the Worlds, and you can see the bands are going to be Ambient, TTV, and then it's going to be Ladders. That's right. There's been on the left-hand team. They've 2 for big call out already. I was talking about how I think MJK's really set the market and had a great season. So double up in the fans going to lead into that first pick of Inteleon. This Pokemon has been so long in this practice. What is MJK trying to bring to the forefront against it? There's no surprise. And we have here for the first time this year. Oh, that's very interesting. Actually, surprisingly, Morzeski is doing very, very well in the entire season in the rank, for example. But a lot of these actually not coming super highly. So to see it as the first pick, that is definitely going to be maybe a regional thing. But oh, yeah, the one thing coming out. On the other side, of course, we got the Koopa and the Slow Run. Just got to mention that's a very strong meta pick from TTV. But the Zexing Humping is a classic for making it play out. We're going to jump on the mid-step solo carry strategy inside of TTV instead of being a strategy.
It is a showdown against previous club.
I think this one's going to be so good. It's going to be really good if they do it.
Is getting started here of the 2023 World Championship.
I think this is an excellent signal. Of course, we need more here today. Let's get those 2 casters, Sprinkles and Dukes next to take away game number 1. Here we are. Next, Yokohama, Japan, the first game of Pokemon Unite World Championship. Let's bring it go. Sweet Sprinkles, I am so excited.
We found our way to Japan. I ran here. I don't know if you saw that. I ran the entire way. Straight up.
That's super impressive. That's really incredible.
The battle drums went off. The war's going on today on Silent today, and I am ready to go. So are these teams. And we got Zacian in the mix for the first opportunity. Get locked in immediately.
We start our game number 1. TTV from North America. From Japan, your orange team. Let's get this thing started in Talion, heading into that central area on the side of TTV. It's the first time we're seeing Talion inside of a tournament. It's the first time we're seeing Zacian inside of a tournament with the North American team playing. So this could be really
Sage just ways that Zacian was released, Kofi on top of it, right as it was released, that was kind of the go-to combo, and we're seeing it here live on the main stage. In front of it, though, Hooper and Blackbolt looking to scramble.
Yeah, obviously a lot of power early into this combination, but Zacian Kofi, a thing of not just Pokemon, you could play Pokemon Unite here this year, so we're going to have to see if MJK is able to bring that out here into game number 1. Obviously, these group stages are really only one team moving forward from each group, so every single game counts. So we'll see Rashiki down here in the bottom half preparing for these 850 minutes.
They're going in, they're going to charge up, got the rapid strike action back and forth, taking a good crop of that from JK. Doing good in the experience. TTV keeping up though, not doing too bad.
Yeah, TTV is looking pretty good right here. We see MJK heading up to this top path here, sneaking in with their Ishii, looking to pick something up, but no, beautiful stuff
there from counter. Select just trying to make it back. It just barely grabs that bear.
Grabs that berry, but also the fear of the throw of the Kobe kind of gets plucked up by the Buffalo. Jumps right back to Luckfowers, going in with the rapid strike. She has great movement, going to be able to dart out a little bit. And of course, approaching the wild Pokemon, it's Celeste there to make sure that they can at least get experience if they can't get the KO.
Beautiful play there from both these teams. Really aggressive on the side of MJK, and at the same time, TTV making sure that they can secure that wild Pokemon experience through this fight so they can keep level parity right here to the sacred swords auction. Moving on to secure one, then we get the slam shot there from Vitaly. Massive amounts of damage coming out from the side of TTV.
Glasses on, big battle in the weeds, and blue open, hands out of Pack and Zasha, getting the money out here. Blue Tunnel's got that third out, got that inner cycle, stocking them all.
And it's a solo KO.
There's two ways in the hands of TTV.
Beautiful stuff from TTV right here. There are few builds that are amazing on Vitaly. A lot of players choosing liquidation, but as we can see, I mean, Lutano, absolute sniper from the side of TTV, picking up two massive KOs early. Got about 10 seconds now to inject this one on top of the MJK getting it pressed once again. And a sniper which takes out one.
Yeah, I'm peeling back real low on HP, but there's no commitment out of MJK to try and get that KO. Listen, we've got Slowbro here, who's kind of a Zashi and Mark counter. Once it gets slow beam, it's going to be there. But Slowbro knows how to get spacing for this team, and the fact that, well, the rest of the team's already working on red shots, that spacing's going to happen, and the threat of a Scald on top of the Mew use it up. It's Slowbro, doesn't matter. Nice Slowbro, double shot on the space, short on the Zashi. Can't get it in time, sealed up. Nice united by the Ambient, bang Zashi down again, and TTV is getting huge out here. Lutano says, welcome to the block ball. You're getting slashed up, mixed up, Unite go to the Urshiku. Doesn't even matter, Coffee's getting stitched up. KO streak at 3 out the gate for Lutano. Coffee gets himself on Ambient. Wendy's 4 for 4 out of the gate. Sprangles TTV is playing motivated. Regional finals energy. Team goes down to MJK, just everyone. Who is this man? Where did he come from? And then why is he stomping on our lines in our home country?
Yeah, I think it's
Stop here, the North American champions TTV to start this thing out. Obviously, MJK is not out of this fight. There's so many options to come back inside this game. What a commanding lead to start those World Championships from TTV. Unfortunately, misses that on the side of MJK. They really need to put some experience over. Still sitting at level 8, not yet a class master.
Search through, pumps through, tries to find some spacing so MJK can literally get any objective off the map. Buffalo Unite comes out, and of course takes out Urshiku. They're just converting on every engagement that they've got. Totally seals up Reggie and Lucky, but I don't think TTV cares, Sprangles. They're looking to take some bodies because they know they've got the experience lead. And talking about taking one, how about a Mew?
Beautiful and checked by the way, that side shot from bottom from the side of TTV. Right now, TTV dominant all these fights. However, incredible position from MJK in that fight on top of Reggie Lucky. You can see him position himself in front of Reggie Lucky, so the snipe shot from Leon could not make it in and secure it, even though MJK is still way down. 157 TTV as we now get ready for the spot.
I think I love
Enter here on the round, ready to bring their team down. And it's just not right now.
Yeah, it's only going to get tougher for MJK to take the games here because that's slow beam, and that's a great engagement. We're going rings on bounds, we're trying to protect this goal zone. Throw the fist out, he stumbles down. Where did the team follow? Nice goal back the other way. This is leaving this hard to steal all over MJK. Brings the trigger there, they're getting experience with the fight. Rages on. It's really what TTV wants to do is insulate this goal zone. Nice little stop. And take out the Mew between the home feet. He comes for free. Final time, and Zashi is out like a thief in the night.
You know, some excellent positioning in that fight. To win, perspective, really patting themselves to get that objective. Ripped it down. TTV could not get it. Still, TTV getting a man like me here. Taking those levels, though, they are starting to keep it up. looking at the actual numbers that are a lot of damage on the screen. That has to be
These people want to feel one of the best protectors of your opponent doesn't hang on. It gets the ice cold together.
This is incredibly strong position.
Alex, he's every single player. That's match.
I'm sorry, this is a taste of what we're going to be experiencing.
I think it's just going to be
any second here, but still 2 protection for status there, and status there, he can send him as for the hyper cannon does his fire on the first. This will finally deal with that. This goes we have a second earthquake coming through status there, sending a message here. I mean, there was, of course, there's the ability to even shift onto the blast doors to be very effective. So he was saying, hey, I don't think it's just differences.
Incredible. Both players are going to be against this. Yeah, very strong. As well as that snake shot. Stick with the Espeon in that model and the Blissey for that individual support. But the Bliss assistance on Powership Focus diving way into the end zone is an amazing combination. Now, I do see where I like over I am surprised. MJK once again. Well, I am surprised. Heavy surprised. But another surprise, you're actually going to see the Scissor Kick. Most likely a side, I'd have to say, but you never really know exactly how they're going to act, especially early, because you can surprise today. Going over the Venusaur that we saw pop off so much at AIC. So many hero plays. Like, you know what? I'm not going to get sniped out with this Telly. There we go. Yeah, Antoine was that hero play on this Venusaur. And they're going to have a huge support back up there on Blissey. But I do think a lot of times these combinations they need to point down to Zelda and their Orion play. Kind of capitalize on the last game. The mean that they go that way for Zelda team to cross it. It's going to be a tough decision. But what's hard on the other side, though, is the Cypher Sizzle. and knock out as many Pokemon we see again down
It surprises everybody one play season more as well. And now it's time to see how MJK plays Inteleon as we move into game number 2 of the set. Back to the game number 2 obviously we're seeing this MJK didn't really need to, explode in that first match right here. You can just see why they're bringing it here into game.
I think it's because it perennially offers up a challenge, right? Like, it's something that TTV has to frontline deal with because it may not have had the best game one, but it certainly was causing static and problems that needed to be handled. That's one thing. However, I immediately see Zelda on Ambient. I'm seeing Lutano on Venusaur, and what we can do is we can lock down the player into a ring of, just a ring of sunlight, and absolutely beam them down, and I expect to see that quite a bit here in game 2.
I wasn't going to interrupt you, but we just saw Dotrio with 3 separate hits, which I think is a huge deal to have in this ride. What kind of Pokemon do we see here from the side of MJK? This is where they're going to be a side there. I think given the items that they talked about having on their side, it's like that safe. And the plan is to continue to take down that Espeon, take down that Venusaur, so there's nothing they're able to do to stop or get some of these big hits. Really deep right here.
What's that done is by bought a ton of time for that Espeon to come online already for TTV. And the fact that they made it is even more impressive here. That's just icing on top of the cake. And that's exactly what Zelda was hoping to get, and they delivered. So a decent early start despite the lack of action for TTV.
Never had an icing. I'm telling you, you gotta win this icing, buddy, as we get ready for the birds here. At the 850 mark right here, we can see evolution. We have just a very safe strike. A lot of that picked up from the side of TTV, but also a good amount here for MJK, as now that Zashi's +5 missing with that big power.
Yeah, Zashi's still trying to play a little bit, but now the Wicked Blowers, who is online, they can put the pressure back. That's something that we've really seen. The west side of the planet loving the Wicked Blowers conversion food. East side of the planet loving the Rapid Truck. We're seeing that with both flavors already today.
We're going to have to see if it's a west side story here in game number 2. Come on, I mean, absolutely good there. We do have ourselves a sighting, by the way. That's top 6, so it's not the side. So it's going to be for MJK, so they can dive in and pick up some big hits. This is what Hammer Bubble takes out of Shiva, but there comes the Zachi to pick up the KO.
Overextended and calculated aggressive was back the other way by MJK. Seals up a great KO on top of the pressure from sending Celeste back. And of course, Ender wasn't in the stratosphere to give him the eggs they needed to stay standing. So, of course, a nice little opener over there.
Nice release from MJK. They're in the central area right now. TTV, and this is what something we've seen from MJK. He's taking his fight to put it on TTV, and right now, so game number 2, they're looking much stronger than they did at the start of the game.
Secure that for the team without having to overextend. Saves away TTV, and that's what they were fortunate to put the pressure that the MJK is mounting them up at here. Just like King playing very well. Facing very strong force with the tree, allowing for this push to happen. Rage on and trying to drive it. Specifically for the wing, they go in. The wing beats come through. Can't quite get the kill. Ender shows up with the support. They finally start raiding. There's the beam. A beam on top of a tree. And Miracle Bro is out. They're forced to retreat. They back and get counting and telling us, okay, TTV's trying to mount something here. Hold on, there goes up. But now the Scythers, they're united back the other way. This character gets 2 for that. They're trying to find another make it 3, baby. They get 4 in the back line. And they're getting by themselves. MJK, yikes, coming along.
MJK's looking amazing here at the start of game 2. They've got the Inteleon right now. They've also got this massive aggression here. And we can see it with that Scyther. We do not get to see a ton of advertising, but it is absolutely going wrong here in game number 1. And they are continuing these runs.
problem to answer, but what it does is it stresses all the other problems that you're dealing with. You can't just necessarily answer all of them that easily.
Great switch here from Rush. That's a fire there with the movies that gets that more critical turn from Holmes to actually be able to take it, activate that super get a little bit of help back and get your basically now. And like you say, with the safety box, you're never going to have to worry about the redirection from the movies. It's all into that switch now. A great idea from Rush. And also, let's win for it now to get that full stance up, get himself set up. It's too bad for the market. We might just go for the all-out attack into that tree. It's right here to launch that slot, and you know it's going to switch out like the other two here.
Yeah, basically we're edging about 10 seconds here, and TTV's just trying to make their way down. They're so bulky, they actually have to move forward and aggressive just to try and get.
That's a brilliant turn from a Rush here. Not exactly the score either. He's actually getting the ball out with that. Lanner's coming in on the other side of the field. Does have the same goal. He's trying to be a bit of a waste of time. Off the other guys, they're going to get that help back. Second one, the other guys later on. Minute of time is getting close late now. It's going to be a KO. No, United comes in, buys them a little bit more time to even shield. The Greats continues trying to get us up. And finally, Wild King tries to make it happen. The Wicked Blow range through. And that takes another objective over to TTV, and that's the one they needed, Spraggle, to keep them in this game. Zugrun finally goes down, but TTV's work here is done.
TTV having the next seed where they need one here in this match. They've been relying on a lot of this game elimination. Land on the Espeon has done him. The enticement of MJK was extremely high.
Landers is indeed going to look at that pressurization. The first one of the world champions will be a Pokemon trainer, and it's going to be moving flying side. Now they're in a great position to make sure that they're terrified.
Yeah, I was just going to say protect him from the outside. Not so pretend with that fake out. Solely pressing the Landers. Solely using the fake out line into that protect. This is moving this exactly the world. Outside and the Terra Blast coming out. And now the switch is going to be into that Amogus.
They couldn't save back early, so it's going to be able to be dealt with fairly easily with their weapon.
Yeah, they will get the knockout. It doesn't get around the screen. I'm running right here.
Some teams walk away from this, but they want to fight. They want to try to push this in. They put it all there.
Celeste is going to get lucky. They want to retreat. They get eaten by liquidation here, and that thing's going to hit again. And now Zashi can front line to buy time. A nice little overcast there. 293 to 123 with less than 3 minutes.
That's right. This is a huge break point here for this JK. Unlike their last match, right now we see that they are ahead considerably in points. They don't hate this aggressive. I'm very expect that they're going to let off the gas anytime soon. MJK keeps putting the pressure on TTV. TTV has
they're also just trying to make a wall around it, have TTV clients like that.
Landers actually getting out of here.
obviously TTV is in the restart. That can join inside some of this here.
TTV found their mark and they cashed it in quickly. Hockey trying to go back to the rest of their team, but TTV sees the replace is the objective they want. Zubra, good spacing, going on top of the Scyther, and outside there's the dive in the middle, double wing, because there's the one here, Zubra, Trinity United on top, holy sweet mama, TTV seals it up, so it gets over there, and holds the smoke for a bounce back by the squad. The NA team says there's still fight left in us here in Japan, and now they're putting it there.
Points in right now. He's a little checked, but it is some unmarked points from the upgrade.
Now where it's going to be set up again right down it's going to be trying to get taken down by now we're looking at this game which is
chipped up to the solar beam and now the team is playable in space. Sasha's nowhere to be found as they're just trying to bully out as much as they can't deal too much damage. Coaching off the Mega Celeste, they got full ratio too. We can look up through that tree, splitting half karate style. On top of this gold dome, and now Poke's going in and spraying no shot, not today. Celestial's game, Luciano's game, 2 for 2 on the back. Make it 3, and that's enough.
A beautiful series so far between these two teams. Incredible back and forth play. Everyone seems to be
going for the attack here, taking the chance to knock the ladders in the back. It will neutralize the attack. Back to okay, I'm going to go for a soul snatch here. I'm going to attack. He's only got access to that activate point this next turn, so just need to contend with the speed here. It's difficult to do the usual from the way the batters. You can just go around off now straight into the game this gen. And go back to the practice to move well. You're seeing that team, they're really clever with their spacing. One guess at a TTV. Honestly, I don't know what was the guess because Sasha pretty much committed right into that. And the ball was immediate. Once that first auto fell, the rest of the squad was like, that's an easier. Yeah, that's really great down there on the now. You have to take down the game.
Honestly, we're in the first match of the game. You were saying 12 wonders. That's exactly what we want to see. It is so easy to see the score right now. Take a look at the actual battle. You see what this truly is a signature
It is going to be actually the big here comes KO against that. It goes down and now we go down. I still think
it was just absolutely phenomenal. I just wanted to hit it's a bit set so far. It's been so fun watching play and then kind of watching that watch for TTV. Like this going to find TTV's in a secret to take down. They're going to take they get not that I think that was great choice there.
like the target to be able to see well, the defense can see out the mark and trying to get this well, and the tip kind of about he is laser on task about taking a very smart game on the shadow, but don't know, and adding to the down, take a little down that he does, and maintain things up on the shadow, or declares and just
Now, I heard some rumors. I don't know if it's confirmed, but I've heard some here. I think
switches, like maybe it's that people take when they're because they're just so good as well. But you can see right here, we just saw like extremely strong wall that Urshi flew, but now they're saying, we don't want to give you your first pick Urshi flew. So we're just going to pass you this one. They're going to take our way. They have to take that game. I don't know if it's working out as well, but they do have to make a decision, and it has been working out. Oh, I think it's better here in this set. So that's going to give me Inteleon. The biggest surprise to me is the Revenant first pick. I feel like we could go way lower for picking that, but Inteleon and, of course, that Blissey for the side of TTV, I feel like it's very accurate for stretch. So, it is interesting that we always have this debate, like, that's something that you don't get much later, because you want to keep the rest of your picks a little more centered and grab something that's very easy. Let's leave this one. One of the best Pokemon I feel really like when I'm so going to special energies. This is the first time on a UCS broadcast that I've gotten to see I'm so excited. And we're going to Kelly actually saying, welcome back. I'll be played by Martinez and it's the Australian as well. So this is going to be pretty exciting on the side of TV. But with the awards, when they going back for that, it looks like most of the side there need to have a getting that money. And you know I'm excited for it. Okay, in terms of rules, we have 0 of them in the game. However, MGK is the second to play double speed.
But it's not here in the frame that I have. I guess it's going to make nothing for this
Take it away from the first set of the day. Heading to the game 3 Doom Snacks at the start of the World Championships right here. I gotta say, the draft from the side here. However, MJK is
that was a choice that we have to give it up to as well. He's going to retaliate though, and it is able to get the knockout on the move as Chiyu saying this is how it's done. This is how you get a 1-hit KO in this match.
The overheat coming out from the outside and not one of the best men ever. Knockout from the Iron Hand is the blood of it. He also taken out. Coming out really not actually giving this first test is that
Studying the first 2 games, we just want to so I'm hoping we've got a straight line here to let the coach be right now. That's probably one of those ones that she can say, and into the face, but it's full of chance getting into the best break. I think that would not that's the feel back in the bag and say, sorry, you're not going to catch the receiver now.
Yeah, exactly where you want to be, right? Just funnel everything into
to them, sort out your supports and tanks. So they have no worries there. They're doing a great job securing those last hits and giving themselves a good level
It's gonna flip!
goes after the drizzle, makes it back to base, and now they're not going to slow it down. They've got the support right in the front. Lukubo, a little bit of a stage, gets the time that they need with that.
Once again, MJ catches so incredibly aggressive and does spikes one season. This TTV on their heels here in this top half. Once again, moving in massive damage on to inspiration. That was a little bit of TTV. The squad was aimed to zeros, treading in the central area here. TTV chasing out the
creativity to go. They put the pulls them down to try to trade it back. It forces a weird cutoff by TTV to keep them from getting hurt. And the try is still able to make it happen. Private pass and this potion.
We can see similarity opening up some of this ice right now. With the stun, it's getting very focused on the and now once again, it's in the face of TTV. Will or die. Looking to see if they can pick up the KO on this fight. This is their shot right there. They push for this point.
Grant goes down, Mary goes down, the pressure continues. Is anybody to fall? Comes up for a reset, no hold to the body, Inder's chunk big. IPG gets taken down by Tom quickly. That's a little bad force for the group to get out. KO's drinking 2 through Lukubo. They're looking for everyone. Now they're calling the backside for nowhere. They get KO'd. Zachi tries to give them support, but now they're singled out 3-on-1. They're collapsing on top of Zachi. Can they get a hold of Portal? They're going to see if they can catch it. Vandal's going for nice little potential stuns, and lets Zachi get out of dodge. Now they're collapsing on Neri. Once the KO on the and they get it back the other way. Snipe shot gets them sorted out, and this fight rages on. Haka King running the front line a little bit for Lukubo Zachi, or some of the Zachi, and they're able to save back on their side. This is the most aggressive support times I've seen in all these
It's still continuing acting. They only backed up there for a second so they can give you a round to breathe. This Reggie missed right here. MJ once again looking at this positioning now.
We're going to see as well, like, stage pressurization on Harold.
they're trying to make TTV cross the line. They keep stepping on him. What's going on?
It's that action jet. It's called down there. It has to be a person. What's the next to do? I'm going to get the
King again, we're going in deep. Sunrise low, they win the game, they get the KO, Cypher still stands. Celestial comes through here, the KO back to Cypher. Those big swords, we had right on the middle.
Coming out, which target is running through? It is into that attention, but not close to it anymore. He is able to survive for another turn in the ice rush. Now, Austin in the language in range of that projected production turn. He falls down to only a critical for his last Pokemon. And
Now TTV is sieging a goal zone, and they're finally going to be able to get a drop points in. Come on!
Somehow making their way across the living room. Full Legos, all of the sticky bandits or the wet bandits, whatever you want to call them. They are no longer home as they are ahead of the score.
'When's the last time you saw so many yellow pips on the side of TTV's map? That is how much pressure MJK is putting on this team. They just do the traditional one-on-one that they're used to. And now Hakakin's just on their side, coaching whatever's left. I mean, MJK has a very clear-cut aggressive strategy, and they're executing it over and over again. Nice secure from the side of TTV. Back from the long range, Alpha gets it done with the side shot. They're coming through. Zachi gets the Unreal. They're looking for one back the other way. Until he gets them, we have the Cowboy Grand Unite. They're firing the shot on everybody. KO drinking 2, and now the Reggie Leckie's going to get close that goal zone out. That might have been the best case scenario for them in this game.
Yeah, incredible stuff there for MJK. Cowboy Grand actually heading forward. It looks like they came back up, picked up there with the KO. As now TTV is pushing toward this one goal. Looking to win points, they just want to break this so they don't have a positional advantage. As they are continuing to push forward,
They're trying to stop down. Nice little engage. Trevor comes out. Catches up. That's a prime target for them right now. Wargamers are laying in. And another projecting. Mostly off the back of Haku King, who's played so well in that run.
Yeah, that's right. Take it down. Yeah, and that's from the overview here from Iraq.
That's why their pride begins so high, because they know they can just put this thing. That's what they want. When they're shrinking this lead, it's less than 200 now. Top King's there. If they get KO on that, it doesn't even really matter, because they're isolating TTV from the rest of the team.
Coming back like that's
They get chipped out, they get pushed back, but they're able to put points on the board. They are now down by less than 100 as a big comes in the middle, looks like it's really aggressive on the score zone.
With that spacing right top, the Cowboy Knights over has to retreat back through the shots that were going on. Zucker still playing for left. There you go. They're still on top of the goal of Zucker. And Esposito takes out the sector quickly with a side shot here. And Bob misses one. They can't string two for Otto. They're absolutely getting up. Who makes it move? Almost everybody having to rain back through. They're not going to make that choice. They're going to hang out for a minute and take a deep breath, because that didn't quite end up the way they wanted. TTV standing tall in the middle of the tsunami.
Yeah, that was just crazy. It felt like they were coming out threatening. TTV kept their composure inside this fight. Pushed back, secured that Reggie Lecky. And now the question is anyone going to deal with this Reggie? Here we see this young huge advantage moving into the breakaways. The breakaways of this series, as I said, TTV series rubber sort of one team moves over the advantage. But this game right here could be the deciding factor.
Without a doubt, these are two top-tier teams squaring off to kick off our day. Every feel like he has gone space because he's about to hit the map. We've got 10 seconds until game 3 match on Rayquaza. His total time is
5 minutes, so I think we'll be able to get this. Stereotype as well, and we'll be able to get the knockout. We go Iraq taking game 2, locking up this round. Having a big lead and really dominating the back of the game as well.
MJK, no surprise there. They slightly
way for us to kick off this World Championship series.
Everything is on the line here. This series between these two teams. Positioning right here. The top guy, they may eventually smash through.
Incredible show for us to kick off. We said this going into this
Anybody else they're going for the engagement as well. Everyone coming out, they're trying to buy space. We've got a Cowboy Graham Unite right in the middle. This gun does go down. Otto's down. Now they have to push back. They're putting in a ton of damage. They engage on Zucker. 2 players down. And look, the punch still up and going. Inner's trying to make some magic happen. They're catching up. Latono's solo. There's the big stun. The little yes! 4 players down for TTV. Just to let you stand up for the function. Can they get the ball up there? Can the Japanese get it done? They get the kill. The Rayquaza is there. Match on MJK. It's time to get those ducats in. It's time to win your seat. A match.
They are running towards these goal zones. They are still behind them. TTV are looking to try to stop it, but they can't stop the bottom three. They can't stop the second score. As another 100 points rain in. 223-61 with only 30 seconds left and another 100 points for MJK. There really just is not enough time here for TTV as they look to try to stop a score. MJK with the incredible aggression right there. TTV caught out in that Rayquaza pit. The Inteleon went down, and then that was it for TTV. 15 seconds left as they rush toward these goal zones, but there simply is not enough time for TTV as it looks like MJK is going to take the first series of the World Championships.
I'm curious if MJK used this option to do the bait and switch, because they called this option immediately to TTV. The difference was the follow-up. TTV got that KO. MJK was there to sweep in and follow every other member of TTV. No questions asked, and holy smokes, what a team fight by the Guns.
What an incredible fight here from TTV. Absolutely amazing.
Understatement, and a gutted feeling for TTV, because you know that is a huge roadblock for you on your way to day 2 for this event. MJK, on the other hand, has to feel great. You played against a good team. If that didn't warm you up for the rest of the day,
Yeah, I mean, what an incredible start here from MJK. right now. Obviously, we don't know how the rest of this group stage is going to play out. TTV able to take one game off for MJK right there, but they're going to be a very flawless run as they continue this group stage to have a chance to move on after losing this match.
Yeah, you slipped out the starting block. It's not the end of your race, but you got to dig in and you got to find something within you to run off the rest of the day and try to make some match happen for yourself. MJK wants to use this momentum. You talk about momentum all the time. TTV had it in the regional final. MJK just wants to put that thing in a premium right now, taking out a smaller team and putting themselves on the path to day 2.
As we take a look here, you can see right here. Obviously, TTV in control of this match right there. Then an amazing fight with MJK, and it was all over that ring was, it matters how you play the first 8 minutes of Pokemon, but boy, those pivotal moments at the end, you cannot take it. TTV getting caught out in the ring was that was really
and make sure that this team could stay standing in the face of the pressure that was being put on. But if I need to shout one player out here for MJK, King on that Trevenant.
Venusaur getting his revenge against the Shadow Dragon after the fight with Sal. Ike's protection of the frenzy plan is almost here. Goes with a sludge bomb here on the 1 HP Swamper. He sends a message. I'm here at the World Championships to win it.
Thank you very much, Lee and Lou. I am joined here by Arash Omadi, our winner of that first round, and of course the 2013 World Champion. Arash, we were talking before this interview, it's surreal that we're standing here 10 years after the World and getting to witness you on the main stage again. How have you been, man?
Taking a look at MJK here. Well, obviously, we talked about aggression. That was very controlled aggression out of it. I'll tell you what, we saw it from MJK on the stage for an interview, so let's throw it back right now.
Thank you so much. Yes, I'm on stage with Zona from
Yeah, definitely. You mentioned taking a long break, and for those that don't know, of course you won Worlds in 2013, you got second in Nationals in 15, first in 16, and then top 8 at Worlds in 2018. But we haven't seen this pretty much in the last few years, so kind of walk us through what you were up to.
How does it feel to win in Japan?
This is absolutely amazing because, you know, I am from Japan and there are so many people that I know that support me so much and we're absolutely elated with this victory. Thank you.
That's amazing. And I mean, this first game you
Yeah, I want to talk about your team specifically because we saw you use a really interesting
TTV,
version
a very strong team. How does it feel to get such an important version right away?
And so, how did you come up with the team? You got no
地域の一位は TTG という日本にないチームをしましたね。素晴らしい試合で、素晴らしい集客がありましたね。
TTG さんは僕がユナイト始めた頃からずっと知ってたチームなのですごい緊張はしていたんですけど、僕たちのチームとしてちゃんと完成させてきたので、最初から勝てる、絶対勝てると思っていたので、本当にグッドができました。
Since I started with United as a competitive player, I mean, I was really nervous facing against TTV because they're really a team. You know, our team is also considered as a great team and so everything. So we just believe in ourselves and play the game.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk about Game 2 a little bit because I think we actually saw the same piece come up. The third one was very different, super explosive.
Thank you, everyone. There's our game 1 on. We're going to be jumping to it very shortly. We'll be right back right after this.
That was the moment he knew that he was going to win the set.
Exactly, Venusaur getting its revenge, the consistent flying whips, able to get the knockdown, and then the sludge bomb here, a nice little touch on the end of this match, so there now as well. That gives us confidence. That's the thing, right? We can all be friends, but you need to be confident. You need to walk into this venue and think that you are the best. You say, oh my gosh, amazing, it's a bit of no second win. batters are lost.
I know. It's such a like mindset thing that I think takes a lot of practice.
One thing I want to talk to you about quickly is that decision to run ice cold crash on the Chainsaw. I keep coming into this tournament. People have been debating, you know, do you go with the ice spinner or do you go with the ice cold crash? If you miss with ice cold crash, but you have to win for Rocky helmet. This is anything to show for what you about ice spinner or right? This was an incredible back and forth game, top level players, your rising talent.
You just have to stay strong. You have to believe in yourself. Believe in the power of friendship and you know the power of
Just one of those deep looks on his face the entire match. Which, to be fair,
that makes a lot of sense. I know you mentioned earlier you're coming back from a long break. So what does it feel like to be competing at Worlds again? I'm not sure. Did you play at Worlds at too?
Well, there are tens of thousands of trainers here to help the mat, but also millions of Pokemon fans around the world that are watching the tournament. Let's check out some social media here. Let's see what people are saying. Look at that Zoe 2000.
How does it feel, man, being back in the World Stage and to start off the first round playing Bowser, you know, it's crazy.
For me,
That's amazing.
You're going up against the reigning world champion.
That's amazing. Yeah. Well, and you know the next round is about to start, but before we say goodbye, you can find out what you want to say for today.
Rally back in game number 2.
Okay, locked in for the rest of the tournament. We're going to see tomorrow, man. That's going to be us from here in the interviews. Thanks for joining us. I'll see you back on the
Can't look back at this and say that
Thank you so much, Aaron. I feel like great interviews. Some really good insights there from Murat on the choice of why he made them. You know, outlining how little preparation, all of those actually integrated the announcement and kind of preparation for the World Championship. Everyone's been on a really tight schedule, but you can see the choices there that he has really paid off for him. He did mention he did get a good look at his life. Just in that game one, but I think you've got to have a little bit of luck to go over and go around. It's like you can't just run it off. You've got to have to it's kind of crucial. I think having had that little evidence there, it's just going to help him. After that carries on for Murat, he's impressed with his goal. Feels like it's quite like going back when he had it the first time. So I'm really interested to see how he gets on for the rest of the
season. You stayed around after the rotation. We've got a winner interview for Andre, so let's go ahead and throw it down to the stage and hear from him.
I think make sure to let us see that and also again all check this out on that one page created Instagram. I was so impressed with Sandra's entire chart.
Yeah, and I think the thing on when you look at the teams on paper, you just look at the 6 Pokemon and say standing up with Pokemon. But again, I think it's a common narrative that you see with successful teams in these big tournaments. It's the little changes and choices that players make to these solid standard calls that really make all the difference. And I think the safety goggles there on the Urshifu in particular with that sword stand, really interesting choice there. And I think the choices as well on the Shenkai are actually really interesting. Not really some things that we see too often, and the icicle crash as well, which, you know, Aaron outlined perfectly there on stage. It can miss, or it can be a bit temperamental at times. It can cost you in certain situations, but because it gives you a little bit more power and those really clean situations, I think it's a really good choice. If you're confident in those choices when you're making your team and putting it together, I think it's going to be here 10 times maybe, then you know you're prepared for that, you're willing to take that just for the trade-off of power.
Well, some trainers absolutely going to take a little bit of a break. We'll switch on pause and talk about the round very soon. So do not go anywhere from these trainers. I know it's insane to think that last year at the World Championships we had a senior in the national and the seniors divisions competition was just as difficult as the masters competition. And then this year we actually just kind of rolled them all together, and the seniors are still here doing some incredible battles. So let's go to the stage and check out our next matchup here at the World Championships in Yokohama.
The last question, then, there's a lot of guarantees here. Guaranteed very, very
right. As our trainers get set here, we kind of alluded to it. The trainer I want to spotlight first is Bird, our Salt Lake City regional champion. If you remember, last season, Birdpower actually swept the seniors division at the regional championship and then took on the masters as well. And like you said, a lot of these trainers that have come from the upper seniors division are still consistently winning. As one of our judges points out, he likes to say, Pokemon Go is a young players game, and these trainers are definitely showing that off here. We also see an incredible plushie collection from her opponent, Arrow, aka the Wonder Kid. He's got his process.
Yokohama just had Pokemon Unite. We just had two incredible matches, not only here on the mainstream, but also on the B-stage. Took down Esports in 3-game set. We have had incredible matches this year, and it seems like it's big better.
Everyone's excited to get that exposed with our results. It's got to be any player's thing, right? To go up to put in preparation.
Everybody's favorite killer.
I made the right choice. I put in the time. I'm feeling good with it.
TTV, MJ
Especially if they were validating fantastic choice as well, right? I think that Pokemon has been really impressive here. Maybe
it's great when it draws well. It's terrible when your hand is rising so much exciting after surprises if you have anything on top of that. It's already got here. You did?
That's basically really? Obviously, they haven't you. I'll let you know how they jump together. We have seen them throughout the season this year. They did come
so much exciting
Apex West, obviously, in April, so fight, and they actually ended up in the championship.
So
This is the first time that we've ever seen any of these tag teams on the broadcast so far today. The first Arrow team of the Front Flash. So it's very exciting to get this stuff seeing so many different interactions, but their opponents will be the main broadcast.
Everybody knows about that match. There's always this guy that's like,
incredibly hard season. They switches at times that you don't expect. He has
it's not surprising that it's not one of those possibilities. So yeah, we'll see how much people like Super Smash. Seeing that was not the graphic was like, so that's another one that we see.
The pacing is actually very great in the process.
Really curious what's actually going out today.
So the DPS with Team MYS, they have had confidence, but they can't come up with crazy strats we see throughout the season. So happening in our business, like we have that regularity and so tough matches that we know about the crazy strats that are going to catch these teams off guard.
so many questions and the answers.
Without a doubt, this
weekend,
I think a day for all teams.
we've gotten so much more awesome action from the TCG side of things. Look anywhere.
And we haven't seen anything super spicy so far. Let's see here. We're just talking a little bit like the Japanese casters for the Japanese podcast. And we're saying, well, what are you most excited to see? What are you most excited to see? And one of my answers was potato, which is a really good pick. Potato specifically the Garchomp. Everybody loves the Garchomp. Zoinks is out there. He's a huge Garchomp fan since he popped off, but I know a lot of people out there are as well. So we'll see if that ends up being one of the spicy picks. But I don't know what's going to happen. We've had a really interesting meta so far in the day. We've seen Zacian from multiple Asian teams now so far, but none of the Western teams have seen Zacian at all. Do you feel like Zacian is going to play well in this weekend? Do you think it's going to be a little finals this year?
Day ahead of us. But as I said, you know, it's these crazy wild things that these teams aren't going to expect. Maybe they're just not expecting it to be not too short after the preparation they have forward into today. But I'd expect it would be quite a lot.
That's right. And you know,
celebration, and you do as well. It's the second anniversary of Pokemon Unite to celebrate the second anniversary. I can't believe we're here at 2 years, but this is the second championship, so 72 years, you can get the Golden license for Mewtwo, and it's a license as well. Something for yourself. Start finding something potentially more competitive. I say this season is so fun to be.
Lantern goes for the 9-tail to the state great
I think this is going to be inspiring for next season 2. Come out the gate and see the pace that it's seen before, but it's this year, because we can see everything coming in the future, which I think will be a little bit because we still have so much for this season for the next 2 days. It's so weird because we're here, and for so many of these tournaments, we've always made so many of these tournaments.
Welcome back to the lounge, or welcome to the lounge for the first time for us.
It's a big mystery.
Is able to get both of those contenders away from her.
It's huge here in Yokohama. Unbelievably huge. Multiple worlds so far. This is the third world, and I've never seen this many people, especially this many people asking for Unite to show this. Everyone now in the crowd promoting one of the tournament. It is extremely high. How has been the journey?
Now, just a quick train ride from Joe to Yokohama. Super
It's very inspired by great championship victory in 2017.
In comes a land. Great matchup with the type. Does go with the first.
Every single member of those worlds and champion here today. The biggest game for the games based on going out and the top team of each of those the weather is too horrible, but it's not big difference. Like everything over good. It's kind of fun.
It's going to feel like a first class to do like probably good on the championship somewhere now. I think it's feeling right now. Like a smaller group of Pokemon that we right off the list of Pokemon animations. How do you think of that? I know aggressive, some like very developed. Cars on the number like the last one we probably do everything right now. Everything is a big celebration. I think there's a chance to give them a shot, even though it's a really
Yeah, seeing round 1 feature 2 world champions, I mean, as a world champion myself, I mean, even me, like watching that match and seeing that pairing come up in round 1 is just, you just can't wait to kick off the day with such a high quality match. Yesterday,
Both these trainers are on the verge of unlocking anywhere you go. He's ready to play this game throughout the game.
it's very nice to see Rock using another powerful instead of you win his with the most focused team. Bit of amazing. His new ice starts a little bit thinner and more agile.
So many of these teams here. So who could that be? Who is that Pokemon?
Steve here with
That's the main thing is the crowd. Watching the background. Look at that. That's an also shot of some well-known casters here in the community.
That is definitely the super that is
You can't. I was wearing something. I didn't wear it. So I couldn't. That's not the whole thing. It's impossible. So I'm always shout out to the entire scene here
so many just to even spectate is like nothing I've ever seen in the from the series. I bet in this camera conversation from at least 6, 7 different countries, even that.
Like I said, I gotta say,
One thing I would say is I love how everybody, all those people are, they have their space of Pokemon probably a good luck charm, but I think how about a person about the plushie that they do carry around with them, right?
Yeah, you have to have
That's great too.
I certainly wasn't expecting to see Flutter Mania going regulation over regulation. Everybody has single turn teams.
We have obviously seen Subversion already do those, you know, the past. So I wonder if we're going to end up seeing any other teams picking up that sort of
I feel I need to show some earlier stuff, but earlier that I had actually translation so everyone's that kind of use makes so just want to remind everybody that there are quite a few stations of gameplay where you're on the main screen. There's an e-stream, a gameplay that you're just in part of
they definitely do a lot of work in their system. Not only production was at this stage, it is
this is sort of the where teleporting to the actual which is very cool, but it lights up with a Pikachu every 15 minutes.
I'm really excited about that. I'm always the first to kind of make fun of that 2015. It's the same combination of fire with fun. And we talked about it. I feel like how much these teams are that even though it was really
so from 13 to 16, we had $5,000. I think it's very good for a day. From 9 to 12, you do take just 10,000.
It's a great segment to do around. First of all, let me just say that if you get 16, you get just about enough to Pokemon Center, which I think we've both experienced. But actually, we're going to talk about the money I spent last weekend. But I think 17 with 25,000
This venue is so devastating as we see it down. I get excited every time we go to the
Obviously, picking up some flushes, maybe some fudge. I know a lot of people are definitely looking snazzy today.
He's looking snazzy to me. It's not like it is to be here. It's going to be Team NYS on the left, Team Pats on the right. Back West versus EU. And the bands are coming out. We're going to see potentially here as we go in this. Love the bands in this minute. We're going to see the rest of the box kind of like pre-picked. Looks like it's going to be double defenders.
It makes sense. We have seen previously it seems like this doesn't defend the meta. They are rocking a mouse right now. But to get just two defenders straight into block, it doesn't really leave very much choice for these teams.
I wonder if we're going to be seeing Tommy first pick on the side of the team. Again, time to see how these kind of regions match up against each other in their styles. They're going to be so waiting out here. Albert wants to pick. I feel like this is the smart choice with both the big defenders are two big defenders. Like out of the goals immediately. But you're going to see first pick for that has to be just like I really want to know. We're going to see the machine from that and the Juba much more than we expect.
Did defenders just bait us thinking we were going to get the really tough? But no, I mean, Ashika's and Juba very good at first picks. Team has obviously Juba is a spectacular supporter to have on your side the kid that has to be able to have teammates not only back row but also up into the top bar and bottom bar.
Sometimes there's a mean look and they can only be in the exact area.
Let's get into it. The round two. Come on,
I made it so there, Trolls. I want to see that one so bad. But this is a great pick as well. Just like picking that some form. It's not like he's a playmaker defender. And you still feel like he's going to be this weekend. Guys, defender players.
Hopefully someone in day two just has that
Italians running the so late.
but it's about somewhere to find it.
I'm with you. I am definitely loving this. I feel like it's a really common pick for the APAC region to face. Just that airy feeling if it doesn't go for that moonlight. And then specifically double defenders obviously have lost resistance. It's going to be hard to take down such a chunky team.
And the final pick was that is a great choice.
copies of that on their two battles.
Of course, the Suns have high pressure. The Suns in alignment as well. So if you can spin, I think it is a great game to be able to kind of some of the Spanish songs to be shot. Even the Spanish right in there, Spanish are trying to zip around, use this crowd, and suddenly they're just a sitting target direction of your team. So I really like it.
You do have a solution to this, whether it's going to be able to be on the muscle arms of the bus, or then it's definitely going to have to be a challenge for rebounds there.
Some cool takes, some seen before, some send it by different sets over Pastors. We're going to start off game number 1. Team NYS versus Team
Alright, two snacks. Here we go. Game number 1. EU versus APAC West. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm looking at this NYS team. If you're looking at UCS Season 1.
Thank you so much, and welcome back to our game coverage of the Pokemon World Championships 2023. I'm Ray Kelly, and I'm joined by Aaron Cybertron Zane, and we are here to talk about the next match.
I am so excited. I think out of all the world,
We literally saw them having run an tournament of like 8
it's a brand new format, and I was like, I just want to
Yeah, and that's something that obviously NYS is going to have to figure out a way to deal with. We had game number 1 between these two teams. NYS, your purple team.
missing that will be
I mean, not only that, you talk about the format, but talk about the fact that it's
That's pretty cool to do. Yeah,
pretty awesome.
That comes second to Pokemon.
No, it
Yeah.
does. It does, but it has been an incredible celebration across the entire city. And the fact that it's for the players that are their invites
just barely missed it, put tons of pressure on, and that's a couple stacks for going to the hands of NYS, so they're pretty happy with that exchange, the fact that they didn't get knocked out. That's good. Nice Italian action. Love to see that. And honestly, Paps went to a lot of old favorites here. They're trying to build themselves some comfort on stage here in game 1. NYS, on the other hand, they're maybe a little different, maybe a little spin to win in the Club Fable Moonlight to just have this endless lead, never KO-able, blast away choice by Ambient.
Here we go, Callie getting ready with that big wicked blow here. Nice moves by Pepsi. I think it's as Squirtle still way behind.
It's the later, but when you're there,
It has been. I mean, the fact that this is the first World Championship, this is the first official event.
There's
Really does make us really excited.
Pokemon going to work on Team Pepsi. If they did, they gave them an intelligence. Amazing so powerful.
Look how aggro is the trying to dive on top of Callie. You know there's going to be an issue of sitting on top of that. Just like that, it's more fight team for Callie. Now that Zorok is low, if they make the call, you actually see Ice the other try and get on top. Rebounds here, they're going to make it out. But good adjustments on the fly.
Yeah, really good job by Pepsi. How are you able to get taken in that issue? I can see these hyperspace just in perfect positioning right here. They know how to very unconventional that wicked blow. How much of that dragon try to take that secure and then head back home. Can't stand here. That's too intense.
That's no news if you're Pepsi. You've seen them put up a lot of donuts by the end of the game here. They're the pendulum swing of the
Yeah,
team.
it really did look that way as well. What's going to be even more of that as we look forward to the next matches that we have around the tournament setting. And here's some of the matches that we have on the docket. I cannot believe some of the games that look to against each other, sitting at a 1-0 record so far.
I think my favorite thing about Worlds is when I'm there, like, I can it's either being Ice Finals, Regional Finals, a World Cup match, maybe even a World Finals, right? Like, that first match you had literally had 2 World Champions. It doesn't get any better than that. So, that's what I love most about Worlds. Every match is sure to deliver, and name of the season is so many
Babysitting the blast list, and they can't
many of them are starting before it. Most of the players on this match
Take this fight. They
are thinking of all the great players that we had thought up for against this one. They like actually players. So at the end of the day, it's a long game. Everybody is excited about the today. So any player to try to win that side there. Maybe it's just for like try to fake
For sure. It's still a long day. You think about being 7 rounds into this, but these are some of the most intense matches you're going to play all season. It's a lot of mental fortitude to get through. 7 rounds of such day. Every player still have
it's nothing.
It does.
And before we dive into the drill, we're just kind of give it to surprisingly, right? Like, just like that, Taro winning, with this game, you want to hear from players that are anything interesting.
Honestly, I'm excited for Lou to win, but almost gasped on every side. What a surprising round for Radar. You know, you think about it, what a great round. Still ability to play on the other tiny water stuff that we don't know the benefits of that kind of tournament day. But I think also, I really hope that to see Arthur's son. Like, that's one of my favorite archetypes.
They're on the main stage. Big moments happening right here. But you have to wonder if
I'm really glad you brought up Weather because I'm back on game.
really unfortunate scores. They are still able to score more. They are really interesting. They did get, their limits access to the catching experience. We've seen them down for the last week. They have using every single Pokemon.
I definitely expect to see this ready. I think Sun was pretty established.
I mean, that's the all 6 points team right here. Especially when we're talking about that 100-point threshold. That would be good to that here in that match. If you're done that quick match around, but Major Blasters, they certainly be on the backside. He's hiding out. Forces Yamu to just peel back a little.
And it feels like every different team I look at has been satisfied. That's just so
we can see they're pushing toward this goal zone aspect. They're coming in right there. One goes down the side of that bias as they continue with this
that is something to pushing a box back.
They don't know the state of key part of this team. They're not saying they can get the time that the team needs to give it. Hunter Titan right in the middle. We go again. And now we're trying to get shielded. Everybody's going down. This team's back just in time. Forcing their short payments in their face. They're trying to step back for the rest of Pep's base. That's exactly what they should be doing here. Give up the tail. Save everyone else while you're pushing.
This was like a great really nice play there. Make sure that they
Genesis came down.
It looks like switching things up the world, I guess.
Now we need spacing by Mark.
I'm really glad you brought up the word though, because I feel like screens have made it's not something that we necessarily have and kind of
At the same time, they have that clip table there. This part is now at heel. 20 seconds now until Rayquaza. I think there's clash between these two teams. Rayquaza, as you know, so much is decided in this fight. It's oftentimes the team that takes the baby stake here. The team ready to get into the second pressure on.
I'm excited as well. You got to see peak at one point. On the parents graphic, if you missed it, it's going to be Ashton Cox going up against Yuya Tada. This round of
1
not only that, but Lucas Barrett has these amazing brains. If Ashton decides to lean into the difficult side, not only is it exposure that he has to but he also has the ability to maybe withstand all that damage. Iron is holding the assault vest, which that's also been kind of up in the air in terms of how trainers are putting together the Iron Man.
Totally, I think Ash is being left to know we're going to see much better in like Flutter Canadian was fighting Molly. It's a damage in the almost 50K from low camera. That's what he knows felt like they were trying to
Yuya, that's the question. How do you talk to either of those?
And now we know! Because let's get into the
We're going to get into the game, and we're going to see Yuya Tana right away with such an offensive pressure duo. We've got the jump going right next to Ashton now. And Ashton's going to have the Flutter Mage and the Torko to go ahead and test the Sun Rays on that Flutter Mage.
One thing that's critical for us to fight knockdown to get potential is to me that the Flutter Mage right now is
dominant victory in the mirror battle for Inzax against the best play.
So the question is, Yuya saying how do you respond right now? Take an attack with that champ and even have a back for example, a ice like that. So even though things look really good for Ashton right now, the question is, can you make sure that you immediately focus that champ?
This turn one is going to be absolutely critical. As we're going to see Ashton with Terra right away. So Fire Spirit's attacking up with the Flutter Mage is going to be extra devastating when it comes down to that price championship. So an attack we called it, Eric. It's going to be an attack on your stage. We're absolutely not get a chance to get power on the ground.
So I think the era there is about my question now is how does Ice go right miss? That's the downside of running that catch.
Oh, that is a devastating turn number one. Jeff Howard was able to buy some time there with the focus after potentially hit back. But now he has left this critical Pokemon and has to bring out his third.
Yeah, so I think the players will stay, but Sora is like, well, I know that's unlike Ashton hit it, and most of the switches will be their own. Obviously, it's going to so why want to go in and the action because it's generator. And we feel the machinery stays alive. Try a few VMAX, get the knocks down. That is the best one. We need to see that action again. We want to see that, but you want to see
I'm really excited to see how they put this stuff I mean, to get into it, these bands are going to end up doing it nice, so because here's where it's going to be. The very next made that, so it would have been a nice target for that, but see how he just fixed his ball natural, and that's going to be their second turn. We're going to see that Terra right away as it's going to come out. Now, we're going to pass the turn, ready to fight back.
Yeah, it's not able to knock out. I don't think it's very time picks. With the big deal, I think that stealing away is the best. That's how we've seen teams deal with it best, I think, over the course of the season. But here we go. Game number 2, they have the side teams now on the left. And MIS on the right. The Ultron's going to be that first. Just been with the team kind of looking like the other side. Continue that direction. So double defender back. I think that's something that we're going to see in all season.
this weekend. That means the first pick could be that last pick. Could be telling us or
getting it switched it, and it does end up being obviously first pick last game. Now, it is a smart choice to be done that last.
Yeah, I feel like we're really in the better meta. No matter what, I think regions that we get to see throughout this weekend, these three picks we see the defend and the first pick are going to be every single game for the other. And then seeing the one or two picked up, I think it's another very hard set, especially like the first set of picks for the second team.
Not going to take any chances. Don't take any chances.
See what he's going to do, but that's exactly it.
We were talking about speeches before. You got that lead on.
We do have that lead on so it does free it up for NYS to keep it on. But we can talk about this. Obviously, now that teammates, they have that spot. That's what I want to do. That's what we're not just for themselves. Yes. Nice call there. So we'll just be able to see the pressure just a little bit. It does get committed to
Has all of their options for something. It's all for Speedster right now. It's Speedster roulette. We're going double Speedster with the Dodrio.
It's the key here. If we don't just run out of the park for the best.
That's certainly a strategy. And it looks like that's what they're going to go for. You pick up the other side. I would say a very kind of base meta team with the double defender trying to get the last side team NYS to push things out. We haven't seen quite as much up today, but this is a team from Breaks. They're going to run it out.
They're definitely going to run it down with that triple-headed head. But you know what? I spy a nearly Foxy. Foxy plays an incredible game, and I cannot wait to see how they perform on this stage.
Mew is definitely one of those off-ball Pokemon always so fun to see, but here we go. Team NYS on one game. Can they pull through? Team Pep's tied up in game number 2. Take it away, Captain.
Here we go. Game number 2. And yeah, Team Peps needs this one. And in some ways, so does TTV. So does FJK. They want this to go to a third game right here, so it's a little easier to move on through this group stage again. These games
It's just a knockout.
when you take a look at these two team compositions right here, Dudes now. I mean, what do you think? Because I feel like the Peps team looks like my solo queue teammates at work.
That's exactly kind of where I was going. But that's one thing that's well fun. What's great about watching Team Peps is they're not afraid to throw anything at the wall in these big time situations to see what sticks. And they've certainly trapped themselves something that works for them.
Without question, you've got the Dodrio heading to the central area right here. And I'm sorry, is this Lapras release sneaking into the central area here? That's what's going to fire Let's launch the
Ways to miss out from GU. Unfortunately, not connect.
Oh, it's a double hit right there to knock out the Indians. Oh, and you can turn two. That's an insult to injury.
Yeah, the idea there is not
because that was the goal, right? Well, obviously, would like to take ball or something. With force, I think what, so in retrospect, what did the other team do? You have your AJ on the line, you have your hand on the line. 2 great starts, and there's a power slice you're looking for.
And here we go to the top half. Cal is here with the Dodrio. We have the lead, like you just mentioned. They're coming in before this game right here. Nice pass. Takes it all over the side. Team Force. Rather short. Deep. Dodrio's going to call it like it comes in. MYS has a good start for them as Elcas have engaged on. This pressure is going in behind these bubbles. Yeah, great stuff there from MYS. Obviously, all the experience is on this side. Peps there for the fight, but they decided to take it back in the corner. KO.
Really nice defensive pivots to at least give me a chance to then play with the right call.
Gotten at least one of those KOs, but back to left with
There's a lot of information
however,
to be able to
they
take
are
away from the
doing
game
great on the
as well.
leads
You
here.
saw
Cali is still the biggest thing for them. That's crucial for them. And now, how are they going to leverage these advantages? Because eventually, MYS's team scales better. They're going to catch up. That one time is going to be
stacked up on top of it. Back in I know the trouble like everything one was attacked and stacked so incredibly badly. They've so much advantage for Pokemon that scale extremely well from their attack stack. They need to make sure that when that drill pack hits, it gets rid of something on the side of Team
Absolutely, that's going to be critical. Best performances. On the side of the table, we've never seen him here in the UCS so far, but certainly not the potatoes hands. So I'm expecting big things out of them and take them out of the garbage.
Yeah, you're right, Mike. It's just incredible that I'm hitting that. So let me tell you what, Fox on the side of them was really giving them run for their money last game. I thought they weren't really the MVP, but they were the MVP in my house. Just incredible spacing and damage. Just be ready for this fight right here. And Lions just in a position to take this in. It looks like passes are falling a bit high for them.
But it's time for game number 2, and it's going to be a little bit of an adjustment this game for Julia, as it is the Iron Hand and Jeff Howell's the lead, and Ashton's running it back.
Yeah, this is a shot to get us the next KO. Changed up himself, credit to Human here, but a lot of points going to be able to go and find out what players are doing. You can rock the boat, and what MYS is going to do.
Yeah, they are moving in right here. United shuts the score down, getting that level lead back. And there's going to be a lead back right here. And it looks like Cali is barely making it out of it.
You got to credit to Fly here. They're the only reason that Washington State standing. Calling the perfect woodhammer with their trio. Easy thing to do, but doing big plays on the big stage.
You don't want to just let your motivation drop. It can be really critical when getting back half of this game. But it is going to be a pair of Louis on to the Iron Man. So Water Terra committed so early into the defensive Terra.
And now Water, and guess what it's weak to? It's weak to Iron Hands on the opposing side, right? And so, yeah, I think Yuya going for that control standpoint, but Ashton is not getting top line. And there's the heavy slam. This is a fantastic play by Ashton for when to get around what would have been plays.
And he's just not having as much success as you think in other competitions out there.
Nice and secure there. Able to pick that up. The drill pack. This is the push to get us perfect down here.
And he could have gone and really slash it.
Right there has been two members have to defend it. Once again, Team Coach is really not able to find
Yeah, they have missed an opportunity there. As soon as you see the
Yeah, really smart plays on this turning one. You're going to see the ice crash. This one just not really getting very much damage. Despite the fact that it was a critical hit, and you're just so happy to be able to take that, and it's just super effective. Iron Hands on Iron Hands violence.
It's so weird to see Iron Hands getting worked up by any
why they want to do it because they're actually
to see it get KO'd. Okay, we do see it. I mean, that's honestly a big deal.
You've got your Hooper Neville, they jump on top and actually force out the United States Union Gale. Treadway back the other way, we're going to see who they can catch. And it's just over in the middle, high the time, doesn't catch anybody. The follow-up on the approach of the Treadway as they try and post three players, that's three players down instantly. MYS with a classic team fight there, able to get it done and take face ready for themselves.
And they're going to win. It looks like, Team Coach wanted to bring this game like this goal. So on the top half, they continue to advance and get really hard. So a couple of wins at this point, but, they are behind on every single player that they run into. I got to call out the huge play that was from Hooper. That's right there. As soon as that came in from Lufion,
I think that would be a really stellar play. It's going to be a Terra, though, from Ashton. The Iron Hand. I love that choice as well, because we're talking about the Stomping Tantrum being a bit of a threat to the Iron Hand or the Torkoal. He's done a really impressive job. It's Stomping Tantrum with the Torkoal, so he's going to get knocked out for all of his troubles. That does open the door for Ashton to bring in something else that may serve a little bit better into the offense that Yuya has on his side.
Another critical hit. Okay. What? No flinch. Easily that force.
Yes, they can move it and take some of the putting on the controls right there. Really nice though. But not able to skirt a ton.
Again,
It's just not crazy.
I know they're all
It's KO's trick of two, now this play is on the chopping block. So, we just learned a little something about Potato, leafy on it. I don't know if it's not a leafy on, but the potatoes are wrapped up, my friend. Holy
Incredible stuff there from Potato. Like you said earlier, we have not seen this Pokemon used competitively. Real question is the ability to bring into this meta. And you can see just heading with that sword, picking
It was really nice of him to tell you. It's very ice cream. It's just one of his attacks, and that's not really difficult for one of the Celtics to win so far in the championship.
do it all in tandem, then they do have an opportunity. We just saw right now, he's trying to clock down 20 seconds.
Gentile does not want to do any of these attacks, but the charm into the Gentile. Now that's a tech move you don't see every day.
Yeah, you don't see it every day. This Rayquaza, obviously, we have some Rayquaza red, but since the bottom of the map, nobody wants anything to do with it because there's a big important objective heading into this central area right here. This is huge for Cats. They need to win. They are ahead right
KO there. Trade for trade, and now it's going to end up being both Ashley and Dia down to the final two Pokemon in the
Just start taking You've got to get this spacing out. I don't know whether or not finishing this thing sprightly. They hit for a reset. The Rayquaza solo. Everybody's in solo beat. What's a solo beat? That's it. Satellite in half. And now Pep seal this thing up. They've got all the shield. They've got a great opportunity. Now they're going to be able to try to run some points. They're already ahead on the scoreboard. So right now, Team FIS has to do nothing but score. They have to look out for these shields. They want to stop every effort of Pep. At the same time, trying to figure out some way to score right here. They want to make it in. Shield broken. Huge wood hammer. Now it goes down. Pep scoring in that one path and continuing to push on score in their main goal. With only 15 seconds left, Ambient pushing towards the goal right now. It does not look like they're going to be able to do it. And here comes another point for Pep as they take it.
Bringing it up. And that's it. Russell will get there. Chitaro pulling out. Come back in game 2 and it'll be a Miguel just figuring things out with Chitaro. Rapid game, take toe it.
And Pep just eating this thing up with a composition that is truly a power composition.
Incredible stuff there. Pep wondered what was going to happen with that lead field. Didn't know if it was going to be a big difference maker. Early on in the match, it felt like he wasn't going to get the run. And that's what you expect lead fielder to shine. But we saw huge moments as the game went on. We're going to throw this thing back over to Kel and Wonder Chef to bring it all down. Take it back over now.
Yeah, I agree with that. So going to be
Victorious, whatnot. I can say so much fun. Representing his home here, getting the win in front of the Japanese audience. To me, this game had a completely better now.
Shows up to play
that we had.
There's a lot of stuff going on in this
Yes, and you can see this great. Yes, how we're trying to get the ball to us and leverage that pace and its strategy early game. You know, anytime it happens, now that right off the bat, some of the times you need that many. I still like the three points that Ashley's brought up.
The thing is, this is not just introduction. I feel like we're going to end up seeing more groundbreaking situations here today. But even then, look at this team fight, right? Obviously, you have trying to get in those stuff, just chasing down each of these members of where the team member Great, tiebreak game number 3. Action and Yulia are tied up 1-1 in this battle. Very scary here as they see the team is back and moving into full time. I believe that after this start, they really took action and get some player of the game. I honestly like to see our card that was really that was obviously being such a time one team having that experience. That is experience. And get a chase shot on that last one. Here we go.
Anything I usually see from Rivals Net. Originally, that was such a great option that it was like most of the last that became really supporting no offender.
What's that additional damage? It is something you have mitigating some of the damage from the opposing team that's coming in contact. Like, what's an additional damage, right?
Yeah, honestly,
It's about time. And this is definitely going to be a pivotal turn that you can have to end up this game in three. Very been a staple in this as you get fairly able to pass as well. So looking to preserve that MVP position has been monetary type. Make sure that you're not going to be here for the damage from the showcase tag.
I will say that this is why the entry at this site and all of it was a big
Right, so just trying to open some big gaps here, and definitely comes out before she can take that much better now. Jim House does go down, leaving Circles just a bit more further going these next few turns. That's summed up, but still to be able to get a knockout here is one of these. That's a lot of damage there from that Circles.
Yeah, we need to see that.
It's always fun to see sort of in this and the Yeah, I think what makes this a little bit
You can have that obviously it's at that right
I mean, they took the goofy shoes off in game 2, they put on their loafers, they said, let's do something a little bit more unique here. And they've got like a lot of comfort picks on both sides of these teams. So it's going to come down to a skill factor, coordination factor, and execution.
Let me tell you, I like it when Pep says their goofy shoes on because there's some really incredible stuff with it right here. They're pushing towards, they can't hear this bottom half. And I'm hoping this seems to get a lot of priority between these two teams. This series, potato no. Secures a nice big trying to get this one.
The range of this is amazing. It allows them to stay at like mid-distance out of the track. It doesn't have to go too deep to get things. They can approach a lot on the opposite side of the map. And I think that's why Potato prefers the side of the West. It approaches a lot more fun, puts it on your side of the map. It does it without putting yourself up front.
Looks like they're riding in this tall grass. So I'm waiting to see where they're going to go. And this will be the rise from here and it down is the up down for you. See if they can make it on. All that looks like just taking that side. That's time in the body. It looks like just put that down with their simple hands. Everyone's not engaging in a big fight.
Yeah, not at all. You know, finally taking over the field. That's a good push on the view. And they had a great situation. They were trying to engage. Didn't catch the muscle. They killed the reset. No KO runners quite yet. We're moving through. They're going to score. So they're trying to stymie that. It doesn't quite work. But now they're going to collapse on it. They're moving around here. Nice wing and low lane. Still everybody's standing right now. I can't believe no KOs have gone down. This might be the first rebound to finish up. And just a little pot shot to the jaw. It's the KO winner over the face.
Yeah, incredible stuff from Pepsi. They picked up a Lissy KO as well. Potato able to make the react here at the top of this point. Leafeon hitting on home. And no points here. As they take the ball down home. Here comes the position I like. Taking the big one, actually.
Taking the big one, but I think that's a final change for down. Not getting KO, not getting to scrap. For the spot blue, looking at the outside. I'll move back to my side.
And here we go. 7:40 on the clock right now. This is just a moment where everyone's looking for any piece of experience that they can find on the floor right here. We can see this
He doesn't get to the idea that he needed to be able to play out easier after one hit.
Looks like they're hiding, they're waiting for the back, and now they're moving up to the top. They're looking to pick up a big count.
it's coming down to the wire. Maybe one attack away. Gonna get a big lead on the U-turn. It's just very little damage. But turn is over.
They do just 10 hours. They have this United moves. They move their franchise nice.
That is such an intense game. There were 3 minutes set. 2
I see that you can always get 3 games in with that skeleton 10 pound. That was what
Blizzard Avalanche smothered the ball of Peps, and after that, it was Fisher for that Zord to go in and clean up. And now Peps, all they have to do is try to maintain this goal to the best of their ability. The fact that it's sitting on 15, I think, is a blessing in disguise for them.
another little big one. That skeleton 2 guys in the door.
That puts NYS up 132 to 67. Snorlax in no man's land getting taken down on the side now. NYS, great fighting from NYS. Leafeon, they were able to take this and looking back, also going down. Yeah, NYS looking fantastic right here, getting out of a very sticky situation as Cali has found themselves the target now. NYS, 4 members of their team up here in the top half as they are pushing onto this full zone. I don't know if the solar blades are going to be enough. Here come the Blitz assistance as they put through this way. But you know, at the end of Cali, they find them.
Blizzard Avalanche combination. The key to the castle for NYS is this alone at Ninetales. Foxy looking good again on the Fox, and they're getting it done. And now it's just absolute NYS pressure being put on Peps. And I hate to say it, they're not responding well.
No, they're not responding well. They need to do something about this alone. The Ninetales will look at on the side of NYS. The Lapras and the strategy in the face of their house. Moving toward them once again. Just he's coming out, almost taking down Human and running away from this fight. Once again, Snorlax arm is just, I mean, he's just such a weird position. I don't know.
Really wanted to say so here. Leafeon gets on Potato, trying to make it happen. First time they're united, they hit the button and they got deleted instantly. Not too sure what they thought was going to happen there. Nice little chip up at slow mo. The fact that they're able to get that looks like
The chip out there really reminds me of the deck we played back in 2019 with the Blaze Pin that had cross catcher. It's very similar to cross switcher, so that's kind of why I went straight, because I'm very experienced with that kind of idea.
2 players are down, and all of a sudden NYS doesn't even care about a rings up out into a Pokemon. We are pushing this thing.
NYS once again just pushing in the face of Peps right here. And it feels like you just cannot break this team as they are taking on the side of Peps. Koopa goes down before they are able to make it. NYS dominating this match so far.
Yeah, it was fairly close. 2 minutes in, and it's skewed heavily in the favor of NYS. They up their levels now, and they insulate themselves a little bit. Don't hemorrhage any of the comebacks. It's too back into the hands of Peps. They're going to be efficient.
Yeah, they need to do something right here on the side of Team Peps. They need to pick up a couple of kills. Obviously, the targets are the Ninetales and the Zord. It's going to be really hard to KO over-level Lapras on the side there of Team NYS.
Yeah, one of the biggest characters, not only on the map, but on campus as well. So I'm sure that's what that Paris song has been hitting all the right notes. And of course, they have to collapse on top of it. They're only able to get half of Lapras' HP down. They, they're well similar.
Yeah, they are able to just pull the ball out of there.
I mean, right away, like, what a...
Not even the scoring points, but they're right now. Peps is down.
Get the knockout.
They have to figure out
And I have an other
feel like they can win.
what ifs could have happened.
Yeah, so we're talking about, the strategy that Human uses when there are somewhere that doesn't work as well when your team's this far from now. We need heals and we need you to hit a reset. Nice little fan force.
I never thought it would do
that reset themselves. It buys some time. They decided to come back early because right now they need to protect themselves and figure out a plan in 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah, this is really tough for Team Peps. Just that heated run running with here. That's every team on the side of NYS, while at the same time, not really something is going to happen for them big time in this final fight. NYS is taking this series.
And absolutely, they're dealing with your Reggie like you well. This basement Reggie's going to go to
they need a massive catch. They have to catch one of these two Pokemon. They have to catch one of the Ninetales. They have to catch possibly catch this Unite. It's just such a tough position for Peps to be in. Down by over 100. They may be able to make some sneaky scores happen, as MRS does not need to take breakaways off the map right now. But obviously you can see Peps is pushed all the way back into their central area as they're looking to see who they can find on this side of MYS. The Trevenant not done right there, but safely healed up. A couple of big, delicious eggs, and they are right back to the
The thing that Peps has in their pocket, and they do have separate their secure channels on there. So between the view, between the Urshifu, they can really find their way in and make it happen. But they gotta start doing something. There's only 120 left in this room.
And you can see a nice big boost attack onto that Trevenant. Once again, they have the heal on the side of Felicity. If they're trying to get rid of all those eggs, you see how much damage they can put before this fight actually starts. Calvin possibly looking for a score here at the top. No, moving into this fight, just doing some vision. They now see the Lapras here, and they know they're behind. They're going to need to make a play. There's only a minute left in this game, and Peps needs to do something. Here comes the Hoopa Unite move.
I think they're going to this thing. They're going for the back. They're going to get this one over. Lapras the pull against jump for the fight before they can score. But puts on top. Trevenant Unite comes out. One player down for Peps. The push is going on. Can they catch him? And they do. Chaos Trick at 2, and they're going to keep going. Zora gets 3. They're going to move forward. Can they get another one? This Rayquaza is solo. We're going to go with the skill. 4 players down for Peps. Are they going to get the whole legs to close this thing out? They're looking for it. Rayquaza goes down to the board. And you know, Sprite. Jack, Queen King, guess what, son? That's an ace, baby. MYS doing it in a big way here. Game 3.
MYS able to secure the ace, but they were not able to secure Rayquaza. That did go over to the side of Peps. With no time left, every single member of Peps down. MYS has taken this thing. They win game number 3, and they are looking good in there. MYS ahead.
What a show. What a show. And at that point, like you said, once you take everybody else out, it doesn't matter who got Rayquaza. They can make it
just not enough that they could do in their hand. Obviously, Peps put up the best fight they could, but it's not that they just kept hitting this ball. MYS, there really was nothing they could do to get through those defenses. They couldn't pick up enough KOs. They went for the Hail Mary, secure there on Rayquaza. Even that, after they got everyone was there.
is going to just shoot the rest of the day. As Callie was halfway through the scoring cycle with that victory before coming through the board and snap all they needed to. Provides a different swing, a different approach on MYS. They put them on the back foot and had a great leverage. Hindsight is 2020 struggles into this one. MYS has the foresight. They got themselves a big rampage.
There we go. MYS fans in the crowd right there. Very, very happy to see the game result as they go 2-1 over Team Peps in this group stage. You take a look at the red standing right here. You can see MYS really had the entirety of that match. It felt like MYS's game to lose. They didn't
And this is the first time we've seen that today, right? A team take it from bell to bell. Take the lead, keep the lead, secure the lead in the game. MYS getting it down. It took a couple of games to get that strategy locked in, but in game 3, they certainly looked solid. Let's take a look at the numbers on this one here. Pretty good. Pretty good scoring across the board. Yibu as the Lapras, leading the charge right behind Fox and that 8
yeah, I feel like they're keeping it interesting. Outside of that goal, it's decided by he was going to challenge. So obviously there's a down line that his team's got that team has to. And then here we have MYS taking this thing here in game number 3. Really I take this
Well, we had previously seen this with the audio we did.
Yeah, and it's really the MYS show back and forth. You saw but this is that big engagement that Team MYS was able to take, and it was all the back of the line.
Yeah, no worries at all. Good luck, have fun, all like
And I think the play the step
this match, it just felt like I never saw that team have to come back here. And I really feel like they were completely outdrafted in this game. It just feels like they're really new team so incredibly difficult. If they did not get hit this, they were going to be behind this game. They couldn't really get out of the back here.
so in the first phase, here we have the attempt that you mentioned, but attempt is all we can actually come up with.
I mean, look, Cali was able to get this security. You see it here in this fight. They were able to jump in there. They get this final Ambient on, but everyone is down. As soon as FYS saw the Navs just trying to break this thing down, they turn on them. They go like massive solo here from the alone detail. They tear back the champion right now. Obviously, they were feeling good. They needed this to go to the game number 3 of the match because they're feeling good, especially if we saw TTV enter the game.
Absolutely, now it's going to come down to which team can actually get the gauntlet of this group stage. Secure this in the easy going to don't leave it up to tiebreakers, don't leave it up to other results. Just go win these games. FYS,
Right now we can see right behind me, right there, Wonder Shot is on stage. To take
I think it's the rest of my expect to do well. I guess it helps me to calm myself, especially instead of games. Like you really have to be calm and try to adjust to the current situation. So really helps me a lot.
Nixon says that was definitely tricky at the same moment. I gotta ask as well, there's been a lot of talk around every region that APAC is the ones to watch as the ones that can pull off the biggest ups. How do you feel about the in general, not just West and East, but maybe
I guess I'll speak for all of them. I honestly think that we have a very serious stage and we just have to don't be afraid, like take it out and just play our own way and I think it will work.
Alright, that makes a lot of sense. You have been an amazing job. Congratulations to you and your team continuing on in this current very difficult one as well. But once again, we are just through the first two matches of the day. They've all been amazing. They've all been close. There's many more groups that come, so don't go anywhere because we are going to go to a short break and return to the floor right after this.
After me, nice party very friendly people.
Great identification point. They work so well together. Plays really well. He went for the star. How does it feel?
Yeah, Esports Championship, where I participate in I moved to J2 and 100 points, sideways moved to J2 full time.
I love that confidence, and I know your friends are out there as well. Best of luck in competition. Thank you so much, Lou. Congratulations to you. Strongest American player. Things are really heating up here at the World Championships, and it's honestly a surprise to see where some of our top players are falling at the moment.
I am like looking at the rounds and how the situation going after this last round. It's just so intense. Like there's so many good players that are able to take this next time should be able to just get that wing attack down. Doesn't run that round. Finish off this matchup. It's going to be able to knock out the champion. Looks like the shot. Not in the back. So what is a knockout in a 2-0. Moving on to the
ones, right? So at the end of the day, it's like, I completely forgot about that shield because I'm at the end. It's really just how far it goes, especially in the national card match, very excited to see. And again, a lot of these trainers have not
That's what it makes it so
interesting. First time, and all of the ratings that you top are not 7 rounds. So I'm like, okay, so you know, that feels really doable. You gotta get it around.
But it's still intense at that point too.
Every game it's I was like, oh my goodness, this everything looks rare, even just that last round. It's so like these are all matches, no answer. And then of course there's so much size out gameplay in that's one game. So there's really no place for
I mean, talk about your experience though, right? You not only end up qualifying to compete in this World Championships, but you've been at these tournaments. So what is pressure really hard to
back in here to get that replay. That's in the stress one thing is spend it. It's like right? Like so much energy on the sofa. Can I just win it? And then see a knockout come in and win it. But he's lost it. Like, oh my god, I got you. Once he gets to that second best, that's that he's awesome. Like, I goes wrong. That's it. But I think that also, you know, this game feels like players, right? And those are have a rival. Really, it's so good. So, in a way, mainly I just say is amazing, and trainers we don't really see much until they just set the stage. I guess bodies with their gameplay, they get all the way to day 2 or even program. Right? So it's all about that. And, you know, Mike is still making pretty far into the first semifinals. So Mike is not out of it yet. Even just making it, oh my god, Mike is semifinals. Even if it's championship is not as many girls. Especially when I can't expect it. Like, my mention is that's my tough.
I really love that insight. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, of course. Well, that's going to do it for this round number 2 here at the Pokemon World Championships. Go ahead and toss it over to Black show because we've got an exciting game show for you.
That's right. Exciting game show indeed. The games that everyone showed up to watch today, I'm sure. We are going to try to identify some Pokemon by looking at their Pokedex entries. Before we do, though, I think we should go down the line, introduce yourself again to the people at home, and tell them what your specialty is when it comes to knowing things about Pokemon. Right? Let's start with Okay, world champ.
Pokemon Unite World Championships here in Yokohama, Japan. Our stage is right underway.
I feel like usually when I see your name, I see Gastrodon, like very feel one
We have talked about being those souls of champs from the time. It has been on the big stage before, but SAQL, what are they going to bring to the table?
We do want to have an update on Group G.
Awesome. All right. Will you be rooting for Gastrodon, the world champ, or Professor Oak's team? Let's find out now. All right, let's get our first prompt. Let's find out. Who do we identify? It's one of the kinds of Pokemon with the
My name's Ross Gilbert, and I'm joined for the first time in too long by the lovely Darren Hockford. How you doing,
Now, this is
Darren?
going to be interesting depending on who comes out on top out of this
As a
battle.
world champion,
Obviously,
the
we
only
have
Pokemon I can think of here is another world
to battle out
champion.
against each other, but obviously it comes down to these matches.
This is going to be such a good game. I mean, it
Yeah,
feels
your captain was far better than my captain, but we're in Japan. I had to do a little bit of an intro. I've been learning, I had to show off a little bit. So we both been walking around the venue show, we both kind of got our eyes on the tables. We've both seen the first 2 games. What's taking your eyes so far?
very soon, but I think it's just very exciting. We're not going to get there.
Okay, just in case, I will go for SAU, just so, you know, you don't get caught by the, like, gotcha. All right, who is it?
All the top players from
Is it Pachirisu? Is it Pikachu? Is it someone else?
Yes, so over on SAUL is Pachirisu.
job. Pikachu is on the graphic, so I feel like we recovered all around. Yeah, good job. Especially obviously since you said it with the world champion and your answer.
In terms of their region,
Look at our next prop. Let's find out.
in their regional plan over next. And a great way to earn themselves their spot here at the World Championships. We actually have a visit to take a closer look at this team. Let's get to know them with this team right now.
Let's start with Leon.
Yeah.
I think it's Dragonite.
Dragonite. Okay, okay. I was thinking about it.
Interesting. I've also been chatting with my friends who we both got and I chatted with my friends and they were saying what was the main reason they based on that?
Yeah, I'm thinking it's Dragonite.
But we are trying to adapt to but it is all adapted to hang around in their cars. The format aggressively, 8 games, 6 wins,
It is like the
and unless you
definition of
really go into battle, 5-0-3 with 3 times.
All right, let's find out. Is Dragonite the golden boy? Yes, you guys are good. You guys are really killing it. Unanimously right answers. So, all right, let's keep moving on. Will we keep our perfect record? Will we become the world champion of who's that Pokedex? It stops eating only 2 sweets. It doesn't feel full unless it weighs nearly 900 pounds. Yeah?
So it would be like a very big thing.
It's our first time in the
Anyone, any dissenters? You kind of feel like a Snorlax color scheme going today too. You have the blue, the white, the light.
Okay, so now we'll pick a random.
Yeah. No, but you know, you have some Any dissenters? All right,
And some other names that I think people are.
All right, we're on a roll. Easy peasy. What appears to be an iron helmet is actually hardened hair. This Pokemon lives for the thrill of the battle. I saw this one on the stage.
They get to play
So they already answered themselves. King Gambit.
He's got some hair.
So we might have to wait and see whether they do just look as it doesn't look like a helmet.
You're going to need to when you're going up against the team, the caliber of non-stop gaming or energy. This one,
I'm going to pull a couple of them back. There are some people around. My opinion is on the captain.
So far, you guys' unanimous guesses have been really good. So let's find out. The King Gambit. You can over there and sell and say you're the world champ. I feel like this is on ice. Yeah. Also, it's like the hat kind of
Yes, they did have that culture is quite a memorization.
Absolutely. And from your side as well, so obviously about starting the tournament run, I think that is a trait you could
on sunny day, it flies freely to the sky and blends with
judging it as a safe spot to find. Esports as a video standpoint, team taking have fans.
I mean, blending into the clouds
I mean, they obviously this is a must-win game for them. They're right down to 0-1 there. This is such an important match. I mean, it's a tough one to go up against, but you need to be legit. I know you're strong.
Now that everything is all down to that, but has a heat rest to that.
The very first episode, it was easy to miss.
Let's find out. Who is it that's going into the clouds and flying freely in the Yes, our cloudy bird. All right, well, that is the last one. I feel like we did very well. There was only one that none of us got right. How do you feel about that?
I just didn't want to deal with the same answer. I thought I'd do something a little different.
Yeah.
But yeah, as soon as you said Altaria, it sounds like great. But we started out strong. Yeah, what, 2 right? And then just went downhill from there. Kind of like my VGC career.
I feel like we we got like a solid B+. I feel like that I will give it. Now, we had some fun here, but what's really fun is happening out there. Tell me about your world experience so far. Let's start with you. What's been fun so far?
Ups and downs, ups of this team so when Luminosity is in charge and in control of that, they truly look untouchable. It's so tough to come against the Luminosity when you're coming from outside because their speed is sometimes too much to take.
I think they also have got that steam presence. He felt he loved that momentum to begin with. This is their warm-up. Being able to get a good run across those. But Lion is brilliant. This guy is that's in his first game. He might get the momentum and start to get that momentum.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, this is a tough one, right? We have 3 teams in this room that we're competing against. However, the team that you can see in these players make very big headers. The way the stages are in which put them in that position, but having a lot of fun knows that this is a true stage when you actually know how to take over the coordination between them and Ring to be there. Because you're able to step up from the attack position. I honestly think this team is capable of a lot more, but this is the time where they actually put it all together.
Surreal is the word for it. It's wild. Time feels like either you're in a theme park or you like walk into an anime or something. It's just larger than life and yet like real life size is so cool. And that big drum makes a moving image of worlds on the front. Also, did you guys catch the drums at the beginning? I was dancing back here about to take a look at it. I've actually been mostly out on the floor meeting people. There are people all over the world all over Travis by the way that community comes together around something they all have in common. It's even like community-wise maybe been interacting backstage with Catherine, how is community able to do this?
I had the opportunity, but also the draft choice. A lot of the gaming starts in the draft is very indicative of how success their team is going to make. Flashes on the stage, it's not intense to make themselves, but to get a reload, the representation. So really have a great forward as well. It's going to be interesting to see if they can fix the best of like a team like SAUL who's going to be just like amazing to be you know,
which ones plus 5 has to be valuable. But it depends who's the other team is out there as well. What is this one around? Or they've got the people that are just
talked a lot about in their team profile video that we just saw moments ago.
So, you know,
Mention things to the table, but also bring the game to that can play to the power taste as well. I think it's a great recipe. You know, be prepared for the best and also bring in a little bit of spice. I think that's really supposed to be trying to do that and more. But game draft is almost underway. Luminosity Gaming going to be on that orange side. They're going to have 2 weeks of training with 7.
Yes, 2 weeks in a row, but in the first we need to find out who's the other band. We can obviously see these members that are taking over. We have Gabriel Hall on the side as AQL, and it looks like it's going to be leading on the side of Luminosity.
Okay, usually when I take a bit that on the side of SN, not against the
I love the age, like you were saying too. It's so fun to see these young kids being recruited by people who know what it was like to play as young kids and helping each other kind of grow up in this community way. It's so fun to watch. And they are here, of course, to watch them now.
We have seen this band time and time again. We've already seen it be banned multiple times. So to be able to let them out, let them out of that jail, that is one night you do know what's to come up.
Look at the competition that SAU is drafted right now. Don't defend her with the fans.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'd love to hear a whole thing with Soprano. Wow, but, you know, isn't it great to have those back?
Will win teams together.
Everybody out there.
Well, that's the thing with the brand.
Well, I mean, I have no idea what this could be. But I guess if I just predict, at least that's nothing.
Sorry, it doesn't look like they have that velocity stick. Once again, we're seeing this is a pattern. Double defender and support. The thing is, which of these two guys is going to work out best? And it's all down to these team fights, these positionings, these runners using fork that these teams are going to have to pull out.
Of course, we're ready to take it away because we are watching the reigning champions here on the main stage. Juice Snacks. This is going to be a good one.
It's going to be a good one. I'm excited to see this India squad here at SAUL. Of course, they know what they're up against. They know who won the World Champions last year, and they also know the team's history of the World Championships and what they've done this year and what they're up against. It's a great thing to eat, and they're humble indeed, ready to show the world that they are not quite done yet. This is going to be a big one.
Ooh, I would love a piece of pie as we headed here to game number 1. SAUL Esports, your purple team. Luminosity, your orange team. We've got one Italian on the side of Luminosity heading down into Power. Not playing in the central areas we've seen some teams do. And I have to wonder if they're going to be playing the slingshot or if they're playing liquidation. From what I've seen, a lot of the teams, Eastern teams are playing liquidation, but Western teams are playing slingshot. And I've got to say, I frankly prefer liquidation for this Pokemon. I think slingshot is incredible in some situations, but I hope some of these teams are picking up liquidation because it's just such an amazing move for intelligence.
Yeah, I tend to see them right here. What I really appreciate about these teams actually set their support players along with their central area players to make sure we had no crazy invades. Of course, as soon as I say that, Umbreon never
This is very, very scary on the side of SAUL. You have overprotected the Kombat caller. This is not good. We've seen what this player can do, putting up over 100
I think it's a big risk to kind of overreact to this Pokemon.
Interestingly enough, I mean, the second area,
It's a five. We still have a final round.
with this
This range is huge.
Snowy goes down.
All those teams that have looked a lot like my team weren't doing so well.
That's what, yeah, you make it season. Certainly it's great to buy space and time on this team, specifically to tell you it's a big electrical boost and I think they're low on HP and they're going for that KO. We saw in the SAUL interview that they like to play aggressive and flip the switch. They certainly flipped it there. Rex getting the KO for the squad.
Yeah, nice job there from Rex. And I gotta say, a lot of this team composition from SAUL feels like a huge counter to what Luminosity is bringing. The question is Luminosity's play style going to win out, or is the counter picking on the side of SAUL going to do it right here? As this Zord is just looking for, every Pokemon they can to pick up a big KO on the side. That's what they do all game.
It's quite literally on the hunt. Anytime SAUL will find themselves alone, they are at risk of getting KO by those moving overboard because that's all they're doing here. They're just looking for
There's actually a lot of really good players.
It looks like this whole thing could be able to pick up this really well. If they can get the gravity to shut down some of this wrestling here,
managed to pull this off the regional level. Since we got those, you guaranteed you get the 2 launch records.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to look for space for Snowy. Now, Overlord's just going in. I mean, all might say HP is
They stay calm, they remember.
Snowy with the
They practice.
at least made Overlord test their decisions here. Dart through that Overlord Altera tons of experience here. Zord feels back. Hops back on.
They could have
looked like it went on for SAUL for those quick.
Yeah, I mean, just incredible stuff. Once again, here with Luminosity, this is textbook Luminosity right here. They just put the pressure on, they dive, they're aggressive, they go for tons and tons of KOs, and they get the Curious hitting down the line right here. We've got the snipe shot once again.
All it does is get you that ticket in tomorrow. So, yeah, I think it's a good time not to freak out.
Trying to pick up some KOs.
Good enough to go deep tomorrow, good enough to win 5 in a row today, right? All these trainers are great players, that's why they got here to begin with.
Just have to comes out there really wanted that KO so early on top. They're still not down. Finally, they get swiped by the uppercut.
I think that if ever there was a good time maybe to mess it up a little bit, I don't think anyone's going to be too disappointed about the time.
Snowy gets the KO. SAUL making it happen in front of LG.
Yeah, great stuff from SAUL right here. They're pushing onto this bottom goal with their full team. We can see while this is happening, we have 4 on the side. Luminosity in the central area of SAUL.
Quickly, Cage going. The gravity was perfect. Cage just rolled immediately and stomped them down with the punch shoes and how the metals are looking to bring his goals. Hyper Typhoon repositions the front. LaFable sprangles. SAUL makes it out there off the scoreboard.
Take a look at this. We actually ran on the circuit player right here, which I would not expect. I would expect a player like this to be running rapid spin. Sure, he's such an aggressive player. You can see all the work that they're actually putting in here. While they weren't able to get a great fight in the bottom half, they were able to evolve that last twist. That's a big hurdle for a lot of teams.
Very much so, very much so. They did get the objective as well, which can't go understated. It's a good experience for them naturally. And they're the first ones on top of this ridge. Oh my, and I got opportunity pressure for with that Lapis. Nice little shot. That keeps them top off. So it's very engaged there with the back half. They come out to the Jerry. They get the kill instantly. Forced to dart out and get 2 takes the objective. But SAUL in the big SAUL showing up today. They need to right now. I mean, imagine they were going to take down the champs here. The points raining in, they were way ahead. They managed to shut down this side of Luminosity. Like I said, it felt like every single hit from SAUL was a counter to Luminosity. And we're seeing here in game one. Well, that's the thing. When you have a team like LG that's going to mistake so much on stream so much, I mean, there is a lot of history to look through and figure out what their favorite comps are for people on top. SAUL, there's almost no take on this one, and they're able to cobble all that together and put together a strategy like this, which is looking good.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit nerve-wracking. They just have so many tools to shut down Luminosity right here. Registeel getting chipped up. They are letting it back with the snipe shot. Here's just misses from the side of Luminosity. So also does SAUL. Like now to see these teams once the first year is fight under the top half. Lappers does go down to all my side here. SAUL. They're 2 Luminosity top. Nice make United moves. And this Registeel's getting incredibly low and secure there by the kill.
The Hydro Typhoon came through. There's a fly up by LaFable. They crash landed. They're converting into KOs. Nice little surge to get them spacing. Where is the follow? I always say that. Where's the follow to Unite move? On a Snowy. The Mew seals it up. Bad shot saying I'm bad. Drop. Give me another KO. We move back.
Incredible stuff right here. We got possibly 44 points going in for SAUL. They're looking to get this score. We have the Italian for the snipe shot. Oh, it's going the side to break the 6 right there. Overlord moving on in, trying to pick up a KO. They do with the Mew.
Yeah, but now Overlord's on the backside. There's a gravity waiting for them. They force out the Unite move. Snowy's getting collapsed on the gravity. Comes down and they throw in the damage. They do. They get a big time KO on Overlord. He moves on the chopper block. They jump on top of Sniper. Ring finds the space. And look what it is. They get the KO.
They're showing up to play, and they're making the world champs look bad here on the main stage. About 161 57. They still don't need to watch out though, because this level 13 is looking to pick up the KOs. They keep finding opportunities to shut it down between the gravity and the feedback and the displacement from the Lapras. Just incredible stuff from SAUL.
They're playing incredibly cohesive together, and they understand the force that Overlord is. If you saw the Snowy disengage back to the corner, securing that put the gravity down, and then 2 crabs collapse on top of it, and that KO. His team understands what they're up against, and they're trying to make as many moves as possible to keep that thing going.
You can see here, they're looking at something that in this bottom half of the side of LG.
Players are really good. Team building, making that big round destroy here.
here. The scoreline is now almost even at this point. Right now, it looks like it's moving towards the top half. As Railways is hitting the map right now. All night putting in 50 in the top half. And it looks like LG wants this fight badly.
They need to take it from Flappers, gets back to the mix. Big serve follow-up race. See if we can get a Hydra Typhoon to chip up there. It is Bang to catch the Umbreon to go down. And Talion Snipe shouting them out. Next serve again, the slow Slash is spacing incredibly well. And SAUL needs to find their way. Slow beam on top. Snowy is pushed out. That actually saved them after the slow beam. They couldn't get collapsed. The Overlord's into the middle. All Mike's chasing them down. FHB on Overlord as they're looking for re-engage. They jump into the raid pits. They're peeling back. And I think we're going to have to take a deep breath, Sprinkles, because these teams are going to re-engage.
Sounds good. Here we go. They're looking for another fight right here. Obviously, LG is behind that. They've been trying to pick something up here right into the ground. He's in a little bit of trouble here. It's the Unite. Umbreon moving right back as the Solar Beam not able to take down this Roar. Can they do peel away from that fight? Here come the snipe shots. The Intellion Unite.
Nice first follow-up. They're moving through. The Solar Beam comes through, doesn't hit anybody. It goes wide. Slash with good spacing, but finally, we're looking for a KO who's actually going to go down. Everybody's solo 1 HP. We're under a minute left in this one. Sprinkles. LG needs to make a move. They need to take this thing. Good reset from Snowy. They're going to stay standing. Overlord's playing on the backside. Curious is peeling the score, but Snowy's waiting for him. They're going to see if they collapse on this goal zone. Slash is leashing all the attention, and they're jumping on top. Snowy needs to go to work up there. Slash is taking all Mike's attention down here. Clefable's sitting there. They go for the reset. The blue line is up. Nobody has scored quite yet. They pop off to get KO. The Umbreon is there to pick up. Curious's going to have to keep pushing, keep pushing. Gets the kill. Overlord. Straight players down. He's making it happen. Their defense is standing strong. 20 seconds left. The Slash is still fighting towards the goal zone. Ren is pivoting to see if they can get there with them. Umbreon's peeling down and sitting on top of course Zolmar. They're going to put the power shot. They're going to put the pressure on. And the Lopers come through. They did it. They freaking did it. Sprinkles. SAUL India, baby. Taking one off the world champ. Unbelievable. India takes the world Let's go. Can't you believe it? Championships in Hillary. Don't in this one. SAUL looking to prove something. New with their transport. I'll tell you what, this is the right side. Very difficult start. It's a very difficult stuff right here by SAUL. We're talking about calling every single game was a counter pick. Every single pick from the side. This is something just shot them down. We're going to send this thing back to Zunix. Their counter right here to break down an insane game.
Get to the end of
Played their opposition so fantastic. Start to finish.
in a way, right? Because the way that Pokemon works, but again, Dynamax versus their format is very different, right? So like, right now, like you're the great example. Right now, it's like a little bit of a fake square. Right, you're like one of the most important Pokemon last season. This year, probably not even the best Pokemon in its own legendary grouping, right? So Regidraco, also not seen yet. Probably this year's Rillaboom, this year's Urshifu, really strong, but don't play quite like last year. So I think you really expect this to be a little bit more players that they already like Sanders, like Cresselia, a little bit now. But just such a very fast back and take two in a row in the other direction. The thing is, Wall City Gaming put in a very precarious spot here in a group of only 3 teams, even dropping a game in that match is the problem. Let's take another look at that match and see how SAUL really made
Now we can obviously see the issue getting taken down here. The defenses that they were putting on being able to take down and shut down that Intellion earlier on.
So good. I was asking it in the draft, and even more so, I didn't quite understand on the server. It's not a legend, but into double the bedrock first make your drafting system like that. It's up to make work, and unfortunately, SAUL was able to outtake and outdo in so many situations. We see the Urshifu actually dodging back down the path. It's about 30 of their HP remaining. That happened so many times. LG was really struggling to close knockouts unless they reached
That's the thing, you can just see SAUL sticking together. They lost that big block, just the tankiness that they had. And then obviously having them walking the backside just sniping them, it was incredible.
Definitely having some huge impact on his team. Range every single time. There was an objective in game that felt like we were going to have a huge team fight coming the other way. All my other slappers just constantly absurd great last hit secure protection. Even if you're specialist having an attack damage, if we're going to see an immediate flood of a team fight the other direction, we're going to have to get the range by the away. It's going to be phenomenal. I mean, essentially, wow, playing together.
We show you the standings at the end of the round.
As we mentioned, just sticking together, making it one.
Approximately
Like these team fights are
players. Oh yeah, they're doing it. These are the players to watch.
But
this time I think it really does matter.
So that high damage output
you can go 2-2
and as people talk about flood, I feel like it's not a flood. With this new surface, I would love to surf their offensive right to knock them out of position and bring them up. You just have essentially Esports coming on top, going back, making sure to read the velocity. We had them going back, making sure the shifting was able to defend that tier 2 pad, and obviously, getting that one pad as well. Just reading the opposite team is going to call out. Just
now you're going to give yourself a chance to first pick the strongest defenders in the game and get that same something.
The thing is, which is true, this is how they're going to choose. Are they going to choose Unreal or Laptop? Their parents are like, that was my delay. That was delay.
That was my choice. So glad to see that they are the same mind. However, it's going to be steward over here. We are see what attacker they actually decide to raise with that all of it. And there we go. So they one really shows up on one of the defense. Very interesting. And the players that are similar they're on no matter what. So much damage. It's like a different guy.
But the thing is, obviously, to be ridiculous that that leaves it open for Molly to be picked up for Lappers, LG, they look nice right now.
They're looking incredible. I mean, that's more than that really changes so absurdly. One thing is, I was great. I think it's actually
Now the thing is, it's kind of switched around. Obviously, they had SAU playing really tanky composition. They feel like they're not as tanky this time around, and Luminosity have that of this. Obviously, having the double defender, the Yoshiru on their side, obviously they're going to have to come against that Trevenant phase with the AoE healing. You don't actually get that obviously with Kante really being able to attach to a singular ally. But, I mean, the self-sustaining is there depending on which moveset this Unreal goes for.
Final team fight, I think it's going to be the biggest one in this matchup around Sunday. It's going to be very, very interesting. But of course, we have our two casters waiting to take it into game number 2. Spring will do next to bring us in. We're heading into game number 2 right now. And can you believe it? But SAUL is on one over the world champions right here. Luminosity. It felt like every single pick in that first game was a comprehensive. Now that I look at game number 2, though, I love the competition from Luminosity.
Yeah, it's really solid. I mean, it's pretty much what was just thrown it there. They're throwing it back the other way. However, you have to know that when you make these choices, we've even telling on back-to-back, that you're opening yourself up to composition that you're clearly familiar with.
Yeah, you're going to run into a Lapras, and you're going to run into an Umbreon. Trevenant is a great defender here, but it definitely feels like it's a couple runs down on what we're seeing on the side of the bounce here. And look at this. Rex coming in for the early invade, able to take that away with multiple members here. Pushing it back,
counting the big six Pokemon, I've got some on my fingers, take my shoes off, so it's on my toes, I need to grow an extra limbs. So there's like 20-ish Pokemon, maybe a little bit more in the big six Pokemon. Like the big 16 maybe.
the time that was trapped on the team. As you said, they want to get the first contestants, they want to spike them early and really get your
Yeah, it's like, start complaining, oh, it's the same Pokemon, you start listing them because the message was right. It's crucial to be able to use those Pokemon well, but also in a creative way, right?
Obviously, how to try to catch the Inteleon, catch the Leafeon out with a move like that. Because we have like ready to break out your Overlord in this spot. And they are going to jumping on in and look for some KOs right here. Nice big game launch, puts Leafeon in some trouble. Not able to get the KOs before he able to start scoring.
Yeah, 40 to 21, get some points in. I like the heads up play. I say, you go, maybe there's how to get out of here. Let's just not give them KOs on top of this goal zone because they're going to get either both or just the scores. Intelligently backing up, giving themselves an opportunity to fight another.
Intelligently backing up, I would say.
That was intelligently loose. Let's not do that anymore. Here we go. Puzzle gets pressure. Got a little 3-on-1 as of course Overlord's carrying. That's a signal to beat the chaos that goes over LG that they're all free over. Every time you look in Kofi, it is not giving that away.
And if it does, it happens to run really nice on a couple of very tanky Pokemon on the side of the Pokemon right here as we head down. Somewhere here in this actual area, now heading down to the bottom half. We're just seeing how much experience these two teams to try to take away from each other. A lot of the Ninetales coming out here in game number 2. We just see this Pokemon dominate all day.
Absolutely. I mean, Fable left out here, getting pinned against the wall. Body just enough time for the Buzzword to come up and try and sort them out. And there goes Slash quickly. Umbreon gets bucked, no question. Here's my question to you, Strangler. Is LG doing enough with the advantage that they have right now to cause the pressure they need? They're down on the scoreboard, and it kind of seems like SAUL is hanging out.
And here we go, though. LG moving on here, looking for a KO on this Inteleon. They little shed engine doll, but I don't think that's going to be enough. Very intelligent play, but unfortunately, no one was around to see it.
Identified nearby, but the Pokemon are going to get that line today. I wonder if it was expecting to most of the Braylon definitely should have up the top. I think that's a Pokemon like that. You kind of have to look for the other side of the field, and maybe that's how many Pokemon that can help fuel the actually Braylon is a grass type Pokemon that will be naturally immune. There is a single Pokemon that you grass or natural reaction. But notably no safety goggles on the field. I think that's a
that goes this might continue this spot about right here. Great spacing here for SAUL as they are on top of this Registeel. Looks like they're going to be able to scare not much out in the Ninetales to do right there. Out on the top path, LG's putting some fantastic on that bonus card.
Well, that means Overlord isn't here, so SAUL has an opportunity to push. They're going to get as many points as they can. Slash getting pretty well. We've got an engagement here as that Slash quickly goes down. There's still 4 players in the face of Curios who's trying to use the A to Lambert pulls up with the big fairy ride, gets a KO, and all of a sudden the pressure swings and he says that you will 3 players down.
Beautiful stuff there for Luminosity as they come in, pick up a ton of KOs. But you know what? That is how that Unite is supposed to be used. Bring in multiple members. You bring it down Overlord with a compound 3 members. Luminosity just crashing the party of SAU.
Now Red with the confidence to play into the jungle, the other side of the map of SAUL, going to get themselves above and cruise away with it. Is now SAUL is forced to swing it.
A bunch of stylish Pokemon on the side of the field, and perhaps even more stylish Pokemon on the other side there. Both the Braylon and the Roaring Moon, 2 Pokemon that I did not expect to see even once this weekend, appearing together and trying to show us that perhaps the metagame is not so simple as we believe.
That's been the one side.
They're taking control here in game number 2.
Doesn't get the KO. Especially if the Flyers are crashing at the bottom half. Quickly tries to put 17 points in. Slash bottom half. See if they can trap the in-game.
Nice big avalanche blizzard. But you can see SAUL still very much in this game against the world champs. If you're just joining us right now, they've already taken 1 game off them here in this group stage earlier. 2 stacks was saying Inteleon, which is not correct.
Did you look at once they don't want to face down a Flutter Mane, the most common Pokemon by far in the format? There's got to be a solution to this. It's up to 2-0. I'm kind of curious what the game plan is here.
Ready to possibly take this regime like you're able to control liquidation points. It's marked right there, but they've got that combo. They keep them healthy. The Leafeon Unite coming on run in, and they are able to pick up the cam on the launch.
With two back in, where they finally sort out the Urshifu, they're able to get them back. Lapras is in, though. It's got that shield from its right move. It's putting the pressure on Parasite. It's getting everybody putting hammers around. But the Leon goes down. KO's Trigger 2 for real.
Look at this here. There's the raid, and it just keeps going right here. The Parasol up and Trevin looking for something in slash charge. This Reggie looking at the Pokémon. I mean, still fighting here. They are doing everything they can. Big superpower sending back towards their home zone as this is getting very, very close to the side of Luminosity. Are they able to make something? No. Luminosity securing their Reggie. This is ball actually scoring here in this one.
One thing you like about the transfer side, I think it can hold up 45 minutes there for some format, and then really add almost all the holding the focus back. So the new spread you just back at one speed is the rest of it shows up. Now what's scary is as you mentioned, he took the opportunity to grab grass here, try to get around the board here. With the technical she used to target.
She can steal away from passing so good. Great fight there. Luminosity is there, continuing to put the pressure on. On this one, and they are making experience.
This game they were incredibly active. That is basically a opposing team. So clearly favors them to level up in this instance. SAUL is trying to insulate them, telling them that the take
Not ideal. And they did get that deal with the 215. Braylon's there.
And now it looks like Leon is actually going to make it up for talent. It's not really getting down with the focus there, taking away so they can work together to try to pick up moving into this ring in 10 seconds as LG Luminosity needs this one or SAUL is going to take out the world champs.
Stokes finding Spawn. Looks like LG is taking a very aggressive position here, trying to jump on the Jeff path. That SAUL tries to engage.
Yeah, I think it's a cool spot here right where there's some incentive now to go for the grass realization. So do you support expecting the flat grass or do you try to use a super effective attack? Simply he tries to protect things, neither call it the ball.
Comes out, they take a good opportunity as well. They're trying to follow up with the back. They use their knives. They're blocking a ton of hits. And SAUL has two players down. Buffalo still standing. They actually just chip up Rin to try and get away. One's going to get that KO too easy. 17 hits there. KO's trying to Rin. And now Max is peeling back. Putting everyone out. That's enough. So is taunted on HP, and they're on the hunt.
Yeah, they're on the hunt, looking to pick up their lead, yet not able to make it happen right here. Sky has very light from the side of the single. We saw a couple of United not get used here. So Luminosity is
Really just so quick under their tail.
Yeah, this is much different.
He's able to wake up and get an attack off or freeze them to that. I think that there's really needs to make the call right.
Now that I use
One or the other is going to
the attention of SAUL, and it looks like it's working. SAUL is last one out is going and indicating simultaneously.
here we go. Healing back right here. They don't need this fight right now. What actually a little bit of a right here. They have the Kofa Unite, and they just continue pushing towards SAUL, picking up lots of KOs. Only 35 seconds left. They are crashing onto this tier 2, and they're trying to take this game in commanding fashion. This is the Luminosity, the World Championships.
But we do see Hushar getting that kind of sleep there. He's relatively healthy still. Now we're kind of in a similar situation as before. And we see like Veselia coming out in the field, which is particularly critical in this situation. One of the things that's great about Veselia now that we hadn't seen in past years is that Lunar Blessing move that we read before. With that, it can potentially remove that V-Trans sleep status condition. However, unlike many other Veselia, we've seen this holding Rocky helmet rather than safety goggles, so it could be put to sleep itself.
That's the sacred sword. That is going right into the Heatran.
Doesn't get the knockout. And Heatran will respond in time with a quick wave.
Prelude getting knocked out. No more tailwind. So Heatran moving before it and being able to the problem with the light ball will come back to support Heatran.
Competitive environment, and what else would you expect from some of the top teams in the world? Finally meeting here in Yokohama, Japan. We're going to send it back on over to Kello, and so he's
waking up. That matters.
Taking a break.
He might be winning many. Probably not such a big deal. Last year, not known for being the One is a stable. But then, wow, the Hydra looks like we need to out that because Corbin and himself, things start looking very, very, very bad. So, we're still going to very interesting game. These two Pokemon players, like, it's definitely just a job, but it's I'm not going to run away a little bit.
Showing us why they were crowned the world champs last year. Always such a dominant
Not the fastest one. Not the
we can just go get those battles. They just score on us and just wipe on that catch.
Check the system a little bit, give that Glacier a little bit more that it could do. Running in the acceleration on the side of Utah, being able to turn that into the watertight. So that's not sticking with it. Trying to make himself a little bit safer from some of the options on that side, including this sacred sword. Not going to do that much. Golden Go knows he's got a lot of work to do. Just going to have to put down a lot of pressure. So being able to split that mystery set up is big. As then Icewind once again, Julius got him over the moves, provided
there's me looks there that you know what, you also have Elo, the trusted comeback alongside who was saying
everything on this Golden Go
to a completely
in the game.
you already have that. I think they definitely spread that out.